Hi, everyone. I'm Linda Gravani. This is the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council board meeting. Today is December 7, 2022. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting. And I'd like to call the meeting to order, and it is now 6:31, and welcome to our stakeholders. Chat is disconnected. Only raised hands will be recognized so that all comments can be included. So no secret talks. LA City Charter, Section 900, the purpose of neighborhood councils to promote more citizen participation in government and make government more responsive to local needs. And our mission is to bring forward our concern to our elected officials. We are a department within the City of Los Angeles. We are required to follow the city and state laws. The Brown Act does not allow us to discuss anything that is not on tonight's agenda. There is an item called public comment where you can address items that are not on the agenda. The president, me, will identify suggested time limits for each item, so the meeting will end around 9:30. Time allocations would be approximate and may be shortened or lengthened at the discretion of the president. Timekeeper tonight is James Brown. Are you willing? There you are. Thank you. Number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Can you lead us in the pledge, James? And Danica, do you have your flag handy, or maybe Ruth? No?
That's okay.
That's our teacher. Yay.
Well, we have no flag, but that's the
Yeah,
flag.
we do, Ruth.
Thank you, Ruth. Everyone who's able, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
and to the republic for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one
a
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty
and
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Number 3, roll call. Ellen Nelson is excused this evening.
Okay. All board members, please unmute yourself. James Brown,
Here.
Michael Cortez,
Here.
Ruth Doxey,
Here.
Jasmine Garcia,
Here.
Linda Gravani,
Here.
Lydia Gerasimovich. She's here, but she can't vote. So how do we do that, Linda?
She's not on the board, so unfortunately,
Got
sorry.
you? Okay. Gary Kay,
Here.
Danica Middleton is here. Jared Negron,
Here. Sorry.
Carol Newman,
Here.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Here.
Linda Schwerin,
Here.
Jim Stein.
Here.
Present, quorum met.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I have also. Number 4, poll board members for completion of mandatory neighborhood council training. Alan Nelson is not here. And Lydia did take 3 of the 4. We found out quite by accident that she didn't complete the 4th one. So unfortunately, she is not available tonight to be on the board. Daniel,
Linda, may I ask a question?
sure.
Should I take Lydia off the top chart for this meeting?
Technically, she has been removed by Department of Neighborhood Empowerment.
Okay, so we can add, if you add her next time, I can put her back on.
Yes, and if
Okay.
she had completed the training, we would have reappointed her this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Daniel, you have your hand raised?
Sorry, Linda, I just promoted him to panelist.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Linda, I just want to ask for clarity. I do see you have an item on the agenda regarding open board seats, and and it says discussion and possible action item. Is that an opportunity to reappoint Lydia to the board tonight on that agenda item?
It would have been, yes.
Well, I'm asking because she's still available. She completed her her code of conduct, and that's the one that was needed to reappoint her tonight, if that's possible.
Oh, good.
Okay, so ethics was not required?
No, it was the only training that could remove a board member due to non-completion in time is the code of conduct.
Okay, so Lydia is still not on the board until we take care of that issue. Thank you, Daniel. Okay, number 5, poll board members for completion of mandatory land use training. I did request for the board to let me know who has actually completed the training, and unfortunately, I didn't receive many responses. There is a building issue at the old Sizzler's location, and we don't meet in January, so we may have to have a special meeting. So if you've not completed that training, please do, so that we can discuss this new development. Carol Newman?
I have a question as to how we complete the training. I mean, I noticed it's not on Cornerstone. Where do we get hold of it?
Daniel, where are you hiding that?
Thank you. I will need an updated roster in regards to the Planning and Land Use Committee. The only way you have access to that training is if you're on the committee, which means I'll need a roster. So if we don't have an updated Planning and Land Use roster, we cannot provide you access specifically to that training. Okay.
Okay, since we don't have a land use committee in quotes, the entire board would need to be trained or qualified for that land use training. Is that correct, Daniel?
Yes, but one follow-up question I do have in regards to the Planning and Land Use Committee, there are a set number of folks on the website empowerla.org that have completed it. The only one that's missing it on that chart is Karen Schatz. If everyone else is still on that committee, you all are technically good to go.
Except we don't have a chair. Okay, I guess I'll be temporary chair. Okay, that'll help. Thanks, Daniel. James?
Right, I indicated to you and Daniel on Saturday last, inability to log on, do the password. I think Daniel took notes on that, and I'm still waiting to get that information so that I can complete that training.
So can you sign up the entire board?
Sure thing. I'll
Thanks.
send that email right now.
Jim Stein?
When there was a committee and I was on it, I completed the training. I'm sorry,
Yes,
but
you're on the
I
list.
don't remember seeing your note.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll get all the board members signed up, and then we won't have a problem. Okay, number 6, discussion and possible action to adopt the December 7, 2022 agenda. There is a correction on the committee section on that page. I owe Jasmine the letter E at the end of her first name. And number 18 on the agenda is going to be relocated to after number 11. Jared is not feeling well, and he would like that moved a little bit earlier so that he can bail on us as soon as possible. Gary, you have your hand raised?
I did. It was going back to item 5, please.
Okay.
It said that you were going to be polling the board members. Are we not doing that? Because you didn't do that. And as far as you said that you reached out to the board, and I didn't receive anything from you asking that. And I think Jim Stein may have just mentioned the same. So perhaps you actually never sent it, but meant to send it.
I did get a response, so it did go out. But regardless, if we're going to have everybody signed up, that's my main goal, so that I will know at that point that this whoever is signed on, then they can be part of the discussion for this new development.
Okay, but some of us have taken it and have already taken the planning 101, so that we won't be taking it again, but okay, thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the agenda as updated.
Second,
Gravani made the motion, James Brown seconded. Any discussion further? Let's take a vote, please.
Okay, James Brown,
yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes,
Danica Middleton is a yes. Jared Negron,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin,
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
12 yeses, 0 nos, motion passes.
Thank you. Number 7, discussion and possible action regarding the approval for special meeting October 22, 2022 meeting minutes. There is a correction on number 16H. It should read, move that Lake Balboa, sorry, just a second. Number 16H should read, move that Linda Gravani be removed as president from Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. And with that correction, I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the special October 22, 2022 meeting minutes.
Second.
Gravani made the motion, Ruth seconded. Discussion. Okay, let's take a vote.
James Brown,
Dane,
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Was not attending. She did not attend.
okay.
Abstain. Sorry.
I thought we could still vote even if we didn't attend. Okay, Linda Gravani,
Yes. If somebody wasn't there, you can't validate what was said and who voted.
Gary Kay,
yes,
Danica Middleton is a yes. Jared Negron,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Actually, I wasn't there, so I'm ineligible.
Linda
sorry,
Schwerin.
Was that a no or an abstain for Jeremy?
He
We
said
show
it.
that you attended, Jeremy.
Oh, this is special. I was thinking last,
October.
okay, then yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Linda
Confusing my
Schwerin,
here.
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
10 yeses, 0 nos, 2 abstains, motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we have a little change of order today. Daniel?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to clarify one thing in regards to that special meeting on October 11th. Was that a special regular meeting or a special Parks and Recs meeting?
That was the 22nd of October, and it was a special Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council meeting
The 22nd. Thank you very much.
because we did not have our regular meeting at the beginning of the year due to the new Jewish holidays.
Thank you.
Number 8, guest speaker from the city clerk's office, and it's Lanai. Lene. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Lene. And she's going to be talking to us about neighborhood council elections that are coming up. And we've changed the order a little bit because she's doing double duty tonight. So thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for working with me. My name is Lydia Soldo, and I'm your election administrator with the Office of the City Clerk. And I wanted to give you some information about the upcoming elections. Our budget was approved and we were authorized to do what we call a hybrid election model, which provides traditional in-person voting along with the option to vote by mail for every neighborhood council. And this model provides flexibilities. So we're hoping by having these two options of voting, that's ensuring maximum participation. We are currently have begun candidate filing, and we are in the process of preparing for the neighborhood council elections. So we have updated our website, hopefully to make candidate and voter resources easier, as well as redesigned it to a more mobile, digital friendly format. Our website is clerk.lacity.org/NC elections, where you can find election materials and resources. We did not get an election information worksheet from your neighborhood council, but that is not a problem. What we are doing is referring back to your last polling place election, and we are going to be following that format. Your hours were 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it was at the Galt Street School. So we're going to be working to recruit that polling place location. Once we have actually confirmed a location, I will be emailing the board to make sure that you are aware of the hours and your polling location on election day. We did get a lot of requests to rotate the order of elections. There were regions that when we first started doing elections were forced to go first every year, and we decided to rotate it around, and now regions that ended last year are starting this year. So you're still part of Region 2B. However, your election day will be on Sunday, June the 18th. So the good news is you got plenty of time, to plan and recruit and get your candidates together. So let's talk a little bit about candidate filing. That candidate filing period will remain at 45 days. Candidates can submit their applications using an online portal or a paper application, and the portal is going to be accessible to candidates 24/7 during the application period. Your candidate filing will begin on Saturday, February the 18th. It will end on Tuesday, April the 4th. Our office is preparing educational materials, including an instructional video to assist stakeholders with filing their candidate applications. And right now it is being edited and it'll be up on our website very, very soon. We had some feedback session, and we had discussions about NC's not happy with the 5 p.m. deadline hour in 2021. So we heard you, and I'm happy to report that our office has moved candidate and voter deadlines to 11:59 p.m. on deadline dates. However, just be aware that staff will still only be available during regular business hours to assist candidate and voters. So I want to talk a little bit about the hybrid election model. Stakeholders have obviously two options on how to vote. So I want to talk about the vote by mail. Stakeholders may request a ballot using our online vote by mail portal or completing a paper application starting 60 days prior to the election. Vote by mail will begin on Wednesday, April 19th and will end on Tuesday, May 30th. The portal will be accessible to stakeholders 24/7 during the application period. Our office reviews each application to verify that the stakeholder meets the NC's requirement to receive a ballot. We'll begin mailing ballots 35 days prior to the election day. Open mail ballots can be returned by mail, but must be postmarked by election day, which is June 18th, and received by our office up to 10 days after the election in order to be counted. So that would fall on June the 28th. And once again, we have 10 days. So there's a lot more time that we've had in the past to receive these ballots. So there's plenty of time for voters to get them back. And we're also providing vote by mail voters with a postage prepaid envelope, return envelope. So we'll be paying the postage for returning those. So that's going to be great news. Anyone who's unable to submit a vote by mail ballot or application or does not receive their ballot on election day will still have the option to vote in person at a polling place. On election day, stakeholders obviously can vote in person at the NC's assigned polling location during the voting hours, which once again, I indicated are going to be from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. A roster of stakeholders who voted by mail will be at each polling location to prevent any double voting, and our election staff will be working as poll workers and to administer voting. So I want to talk a little bit about the COVID requirements. I know that that's kind of a very touchy subject, and I want to explain. Our policy right now is going to be
Excuse me, who's our policy? Who's our?
the city current city policy. Thank you for correcting the current city policy. Is proof of vaccination and negative COVID-19 test within the past 72 hours will be required to enter a polling place. Any voter who cannot provide that required COVID-19 documents will still be able to vote. However, we're going to adjust the way we do it, and we will work with them and have what we call outside voting. And we will work with them either curbside or have an area. Nobody will be turned away. It's just a matter of if we can't have, they don't have what they need, we're going to take care of them in a different way, kind of like the way we've adapted with our candidates currently for the municipal elections. Masks are strongly recommended, but not required to enter a polling place. Now, there's quite a bit of time between now and June 18th. So if those restrictions are lifted and the restrictions change, we will follow whatever the city policy is at that time. And we will make sure that the board is notified, that it's listed at the polling place, and that it's on our website. So there'll be no surprises. But once again, I want to reiterate, nobody is being turned away. We're just going to have to adapt the way that we handle depending on whatever the city policy is at the time. So let me talk a little bit about selection. Our office will begin tallying ballots the next business day following the election, which can be observed in person or via online streaming. Unofficial election results will be released approximately 5 days after the election, and official election results will be released approximately 13 days after the election. Stakeholders have an opportunity to participate as a community volunteer poll worker or even be part of the Independence Grievance Panel. We'll have applications and information on our website in the coming weeks. And I know that's a lot. I gave you a lot of information, so I am here for questions, but you can always call our office at 213-978-0444. You can ask for me, or any of our staff is ready and willing to give information to stakeholders or potential candidates about anything about the election that they have questions. And once again, Linda, you have my email, so of course, please feel free to share it with the board. I'm here to help you. And so if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Okay, I just want to clarify something. We did forward what our hours of operation, our location, etc. So if you don't have it, I don't know where it is. We also asked that we wanted vote by mail. We
Right.
also asked that we wanted English, Spanish, and Korean.
Okay, why don't you do this? If you can find the form, and you took board action on that form as well,
Yeah.
why don't you forward it to me and we'll take a look at it. Like I said, we're still recruiting, it's still early, so let's take a look at it and we'll see what we can do. Once again, once we confirm your location and your hours, I'll make sure to send it to you, but yeah, go ahead and forward it to me and I will see what we can do. Okay.
And if anyone missed the dates, item number 11 on the agenda are the dates for the candidate filing. So you don't have to remember.
And on our website as well. Remember, you're under Region 3.
Yes, that's where I found it. Steve Leffert. Oh no, you're squeaking.
How about now?
Perfect.
Okay. I just wanted to point out that the June 18th happens to be Father's Day. So I don't know if that's going to cut into anything in the voting, but they can always vote by mail if they got other plans.
Uh-oh.
True.
Well, we'll make sure to treat all the fathers extra special.
Oh, we'll need a bigger budget. Glenn Bailey?
I apologize if I didn't hear this, but for the vote by mail, hi Lene. For the vote by mail ballots, it was been announced at other meetings that if someone finds themselves anywhere in Region 3, that they can drop it off at any of the polling places in Region 3. So if you're out in West Hills, Woodland Hills, can't get back to Lake Balboa, that you could drop that off. And
That is absolutely correct.
And just want to make sure that that was correct, and that may want to help publicize that for people who didn't get their ballot mailed back before then.
That is correct. All the ballots will come back to the same place, so it doesn't really matter as long as it's on the polling places on election day, and we'll have a list of those locations on our website on that day as well.
Thank you. Ruth Doxey and then Linda Schwerin.
Yes, for the COVID-19 policy, did you say current vaccination, proof of vaccination, and a negative test within 72 hours?
Or a negative test.
Or, okay, that's what I wanted.
Because if you're vaccinated, they won't even ask for that.
Okay, thank you.
Linda Schwerin? You're muted.
Yes. Lanny, when you originally mentioned about the time frame for RNC's election, when Lake Balboa submitted their information request sheet, our hours are listed as 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. as opposed to the 8 p.m. that you mentioned a little earlier.
Okay. Yeah, Linda's gonna send me that form, and I'm gonna forward the form on to staff in case if we haven't received it. Fortunately, yours is later, so we have time to make those adjustments.
Wonderful, thank you.
And you said those languages were Spanish
and Korean.
And those we translate automatically, so no issue there. Our forms will be available in those languages automatically.
Perfect,
That'll
thank you,
be
because
good.
I believe we're allowed 2 additional.
Well, you can ask us for languages, and some of them may cost, but if we already are translating them, like Spanish, Korean, Chinese, those are some of the common ones, then we just make them available to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Daniel?
Yes, hello, Lene. I just wanted to support my
Daniel.
wonderful colleague at the city. Say, I always often get the question of, well, what can we do the day of as an NC? And it's been shared that you all can volunteer at other NCs to do vote counting, but it's nothing for you to technically do the day of.
Well, it's not vote counting. They can work as poll workers, but what we try to do is have them work in the same region, but maybe in another location, just to avoid any, even the resemblance of any type of, funny business. So we want people to work, but ideally, we want to make sure our staff is going to be there, but we always look for volunteers. And so that information will be on our website, applications and flyer information about our policies. So if people want to join, there's opportunities to work.
Yeah, so forgive me, not vote counting.
Right.
Well, we have done that in the past, but we're allowed to be in the candidate box, wherever that is. What is it, 100 feet away?
Yeah, 100 feet away.
100 feet away. Yeah, so I'm sure we'll plan to do that as well. It's a great time to meet the stakeholders.
Yes, a great outreach event.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Do not worry if you don't think of anything. You can always email me. You can call me on the phone. I'm here to help you. I'm looking forward to working with you. This is our first election together. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm here to help you. Our goal is to help, even if there's something that you feel you can't do, our goal is to find out what you can do. We want to see what we can do for you. So even when people think they don't qualify, we're going to see what we can find where you do qualify, what you can do. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much. No other questions? You're free to go. Oh, wait, Michael. Michael?
I just had a question for the day of elections. Is there anything we cannot do on social media? Like go live on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that? even if we're 100 feet away, just to announce elections?
I mean, obviously you have the social media policies, but ideally, we always say that as long as you're 100 feet out, and, we always say, as voters come in, kind of leave them alone. It's when they go out, then you're welcome to greet them. And, as they exit, it's when they're coming in, we're a little bit, especially with that 100 feet, the wall of safety, where there's no type of intrusion, but, advertising. And I don't know, Daniel, is there anything you want to talk about the social media policy that they might not?
Not necessarily the social media policy, but you did ask a wonderful question. And the reason why I say you asked a wonderful question is because if you're currently on the elections committee or the committee that does anything in promotion of the NC's election, we're asking that you don't even mention your candidacy and your campaign, right? Not even utilizing that as a tool to bring people into the neighborhood council to say, hey, I'm Michael Cortez on Lake Balboa. I'm on the elections committee. You should come, vote for me and you should join it. We're asking for you, if you're on the elections committee, to even refrain from doing that, right? And that's been shared, I believe, to my NCs that have a limited capacities, where those board members sit on the election committee and they have no other option but to actually promote the NC elections as well. So if you all have a specific elections committee and you're not on that elections committee, then feel free to boost their campaign. But however, if you are and you are running for re-election, we're asking that you don't necessarily voice your seat on the committee of the elections committee for Lake Balboa. Just go ahead and run the campaign in regards to getting folks involved with Lake Balboa and becoming a candidate. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All righty. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And we hope to see you again soon.
All righty. Thank you so much. It was really nice meeting all of you. Take care.
Nice to meet you. Bye-bye. Okay, number 9, announcements and reports. West Valley LAPD Senior Lead Officer Mike Terrazas. First, I want to say thank you so much for coming up on Saturday at the grand opening of the Jesse Owens Park. And I don't know why you didn't want to go on the swing with me. What's happening in the community?
So our crime numbers over the last month, Lake Balboa's are, I'm almost afraid to say this, are really, really good. Lake Balboa has very, very low crime numbers, no crime trends. So the numbers, as opposed to really the rest of the division, are looking very, very good. The thing I would ask everybody, it's the holidays. So please, if you have packages, if you have a neighbor that maybe sees a package being delivered and can take it and store it for you so you don't tempt the porch pirates, please lock your cars. Don't keep things visible in your cars. Our promotion that we had a while ago, lock it, hide it, keep it. Just please remember that. Don't give somebody the opportunity to do that. Some quality of life issues. I've gotten emails and phone calls regarding the bike path on south of Victory Boulevard that goes from the 405 to Balboa. I could probably talk to you about a half hour about all the city agencies fighting over this bike path and whose land belongs to who. Jonah Glickman has cut through all the red tape. We had a real long meeting with multi-agency meeting yesterday. The cleanup notices were posted yesterday. The cleanup is going to happen on December 20th. It's going to be a multi-agency cleanup. I know in the past what's happened when we've done the cleanups, the transients just move their property to the other piece of land. And then when the cleanup finishes, they move it over, or maybe they keep it. This is going to be a multi-agency cleanup on the 20th. Both Parks and Recs and MTA are going to be there at the same time so that they can't do this little game of just moving it across the bike path to keep their property. They're going to be there side by side. And the plan is to completely clean that up. And like I say, it's a multi-agency effort. It's going to take place on the 20th. Between now and the 20th, they're going to have homeless outreach people going out to the homeless that are there to try and get them the resources and the shelter, get them into shelters, get them whatever resources they need before that cleanup happens. So they say they need about 2 weeks to do that because there are so many people there. But like I say, on the 20th, there's going to be a massive cleanup. It might even take 2 days. I know Jonah Glickman is for the Parks and Recs. He's actually scheduled them the 20th and the 21st just to be safe so that we get that whole area cleaned up. Van Owen on between like DeCellis and Forbes around Bull Creek. I was talking to some people at the park opening. I went down there, I put in a request to get that gate fixed, that the lock was broken. I've impounded a couple of cars from there, from the little RV section that's been popping up. I've talked to some people of the RVs. I'm trying to get some of that cleaned out. I think I got one encampment out of there. I'll keep monitoring that. But I've actually put in a request, like I say, a request to get some of those broken items fixed through the city. And then the last one, Balboa Park. I know on Sundays, the soccer leagues are disturbing some of the neighbors. I'm working with the Rangers on that. I've actually been through the park for the last couple of Sundays. Our patrol units are going through the park. Mother Nature has helped us a little bit in that the weather has cooled down. We've had a little bit of rain, but for the most part, I'm hearing for the last couple of weeks that we're doing pretty good, keeping the music down, keeping the parties at a minimum. We're still working on that, so it's not a closed issue. So I'm still working that issue also. We have Coffee with the Cop coming up. That's going to be next Wednesday, the 14th. That's going to be at the Starbucks at Satakoy and Louise from 10 a.m. to noon. So if you're available, we would love to see you. We're going to kind of commandeer their patio there. So myself and the other senior lead officers will be there. So Satakoy and Louise on the 14th from 10 to noon. And then lastly, just on a personal note, I'll be on vacation in January. So I won't be at the meeting on January. I will be back in February though. So hopefully I'll have more good news in February.
Well, lucky for you, we don't meet in January, so we're not going to be there either. Very good. Any questions for Glenn Bailey?
Good evening, officer. I think I'm Glenn Bailey. I think I mentioned this at the previous meeting about the Sepulveda Basin Wildlife Area Steering Committee. I don't know if your vacation plans include January 24th or not. That's the next meeting of the committee. We did announce at our last meeting that you had been appointed and which we were anxiously awaiting a senior lead officer that include the Sepulveda Basin. But if it doesn't work with your plans for January 24th, then the next meeting would be the 4th Tuesday of March, and we'd love to have you and meet the committee members and have a conversation about public safety in that portion of the Sepulveda Basin.
Sure. If you want to email me, my email is
Got it. I got it. Okay, go ahead. Others may want it.
Okay, if everybody's ready. My email is 34499@lapd.online. So I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be that far in advance. I won't be on vacation then, but I'm not sure when I'm going to be when my days on and days off are going to be. But email me so that I have the date and that I can and email me also the time of the meeting so that I can try and get my schedule worked around that.
Okay, it's 6:30 p.m. evening, so thank you.
Okay. Is it a virtual meeting or an in-person meeting?
Well, in January it'll be virtual. Remains to be seen what happens after that.
Right. Yeah. Just email me about that. Email me the date, the time, and if I need any, Zoom, pin numbers or anything like that. And I'll see. Like I say, I'll try and work my schedule out around that.
Perfect. We have a caller. The last three numbers are 929 with their hand raised.
Hi, I was actually wanting to make a comment about item number 18. Is that okay to do that now regarding?
No.
Motion? Okay,
No, it's not.
also, my other question is, though, I do want to ask is, are you our new SLO, Officer Teresis? We're in the area known as the Pocket, which is just west of the airport, north of Sherman Way, south of Satakoy, but we're east of Bull Creek.
Yeah, that should be my area, yes.
Okay, so did you replace Sam Park?
No, Sam Park is still there. Did you say you were west or east of the airport?
West.
We're just west of the airport.
It's right on the border. No, I did not replace Sam Park. So if Sam Park is your senior, what is your senior lead? He's still here.
Okay, because you're dealing with the Bull Creek, where we're right there in that neighborhood where the Bull Creek people have been living in the creek there, and with the gate being unlocked.
It depends on where you are. Honestly, I'd have to look at a quick map. But it might be me and it might be Sam. It's right on the border there. When you talk about the airport, it's right on the border. If you're west of the airport, that's probably my area.
Okay, so we'll be calling you from now on.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and you said, oh, I'm sorry, could you give your email again? Was it?
It's 34499 at lapd.online.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Lionel?
Madam Chair, are we in the general public comment item 13 or not?
I beg your pardon?
Are we in general public comment item 13?
We're on item number 9, which is
okay,
announcements and reports.
I apologize. I'll wait.
Okay, thank you. Danica?
I just wanted to confirm that the Coffee with the Cop is on Wednesday, December 14th from 10 to noon.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your attending. And you can stay as long as you like, and you can leave if you wish also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Michael Liu. I've lost you, Michael. Here we go.
Good. Hello, good evening, everybody. I didn't want to take too much time to give an update, but I did want to, I guess, touch on the 16638, the rat house issue that was brought up at the last meeting. If anybody, and I'll use that as an example for how one of the ways to utilize my office and my services. If you do have questions about any particular criminal case or even anything that the city attorney's office is involved with, please feel free to reach out to me and ask me about, what happened with this case, or did this go to trial, or whatever the case may be. I'm happy to look that up for you. With regard to the rat house case that was brought up at the last meeting, what I want to communicate at this time is that the city and other government agencies are aware that the problem is still ongoing, and we recognize that our involvement in trying to remedy that is not yet done. So there is still work being done on it. And if you have specific questions about that or anything else, please feel free to reach out to me. That's it for me, and I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions.
Michael, shall we have a Zoom with the health department? Would that help?
Could be helpful. Sure. Yeah. I mean,
shall we get the gang together?
I don't think it hurts. I think it always helps to have communication and exchange of information so that people aren't left to assume and fill in those gaps with their own assumptions that may or may not be right or wrong. So I'm always happy to have a meeting and jump on and share with anybody there whatever information I have.
I'll see if I can arrange that. Thank you, Michael.
Sure.
Anyone from the Pocket have anything they want to ask? Or anyone else, actually? Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good meeting.
next we have, looking down our list here. Okay, so our U.S. representative from Tony Cardenas's office, Osalvo Ramirez.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Hi.
This is Osvaldo Ramirez with the Office of Congressman Tony Cardenas. Happy holidays, everybody. Just want to give a few legislative and district updates. On the legislative side, the congressman did have a win in Congress. One of his bills did pass and get signed into law recently, and it was the Safe Sleep for Babies Act. It went into effect on November 12th. What that bill does, it bans inclined sleep products and padded crib bumpers, regardless of date of manufacture. So this took place on November 12th, but we're still trying to get some awareness out for families. We know that a lot of folks like to, sell products maybe back to like thrift stores or garage sales, but these products did lead to some deaths nationwide. Nearly 200 deaths were linked to crib bumpers and infant inclined sleep products. So we want to get some awareness out to make sure that these products, with the law, it's off the shelf, but we still want to get it out so it's off the secondhand market. So that was a good win for us to close out the year. District-wide, some district-based updates. Our office is continuing to do our constituent services. For this time of the year, we do get some USPS concerns. Our office communicates with different federal agencies, Social Security, IRS, USPS is one of them. So if, I know sometimes security is a concern, sometimes packages get lost. Our office is a resource for you all. As long as you have some sort of tracking item number, anything like that, our office can connect with the USPS to assist you in maybe identifying where that is. So that's a resource that many folks don't know that we can provide. Also, passports. That was a big thing in the summer, and it's a big thing right now in the holidays. Make sure you check your passports. If it's expired and you guys are traveling, feel free to reach out to our office. Our office can connect with the West LA Passport Agency to get emergency passport appointments for those last minute trips. Besides that, just want to put out my information out there. I can, if it's not, actually it might be on the agenda, right? So,
yes, it is.
Perfect.
Mhm.
All right. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, feel free to send me an email. Thank you, everybody.
And if anyone does not have the agenda, it is on the website, lakebalboanc.org. You can pull up the agenda. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Deanna, I'm sorry, I jumped right past you. I moved you on over and I ignored you. I apologize.
That is perfectly fine. Good evening, everybody. My name is Viana. I am the Lake Balboa Field Deputy, your Lake Balboa Field Deputy still. I want to thank everybody for coming out this last weekend and having a great event with Jesse Owens' grand reopening. Of course, that was just phase 1, and there's going to be a lot of upkeep, maintenance, and any attention that you notice in the park that our office can help address, please let us know. But I know that we will be discussing with the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council on next improvements and next steps for the park as time goes. Otherwise, let's see. Officer Terrazas mentioned the bike path operation that is tentatively scheduled for the 20th. As you know, Jonah Glickman has been working tirelessly on that since before I've even joined the office, and it's great to see some type of resolution. So we're expecting the operation to take place on the 20th, and if not, we reserve the 21st if weather conditions are an issue. And otherwise, happy holidays. Council is on recess for the next couple of weeks, but our office is still here to serve you. If you have any city-related issues that we could help address, we would like to be a resource for you all. My information's on the agenda, and happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you. And Deanna, thank you so much for coming to the reopening also. It was a pleasure to see you in person. It was a pleasure to see everybody in person, actually. Perfect.
moving ahead.
Thank you again. Any questions for Deanna? I don't see any hands raised. Danica, are you trying to raise your hand?
Yes, hi, Deanna. I would just wondered if there's any update on the Welcome to Lake Balboa sign.
You know what? I would love to give you an update. Let me do that first thing tomorrow. I think I sent an email out and haven't heard anything back. So let's see where it's at. Let's get that going.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and last but not least, we've got Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, Daniel D. Johnson. Before you speak, Daniel, are you going to make yourself visible? Where are you hiding? There you are.
Always.
I want to publicly thank you for coming out to the Jesse Owens reopening of the park. I really, really appreciated that. It's been a long time since anyone from Dunn has come to a function. And not only did you come and we got to meet you and to learn who you really are, and that you're really much taller than I thought. And you actually sat and you helped sign in people. So I want you to know that we absolutely appreciate it and thank you.
Thank you for those wonderful words. I'm just here to support, And the more you all ask questions, the more you ask for support, the more I can try to figure that out in the best way possible. So I actually want to congratulate you all for a wonderful event. I joked around with myself and said, this is the first event I actually saw people show up on time for in the history of all events I've ever been to. And once it really got going, the park was full and it was beautiful. So it was quite a distance. I drove from Long Beach all the way out there, but I'll do it again if I have to. So again, thank you all for your wonderful contribution to the NC system and the Lake Balboa community as well. I wouldn't be here without you all, honestly. So with that being said, I don't think I really have to touch on the trainings, but I do want to say your most accurate information would be the empowerla.org website to see where you stand with your trainings. If not, you can always holler at me, give me an email or a call, or if you show up to the event, you could tell me in person and I can relay that information to the department to see if I could get that information to you sooner or later. But that's the way I access the information in regards to rosters is through that website. But also, of course, I work for the department, so I could tap onto my colleague and ask them sooner or later. So I did do that yesterday, and everyone's basically in good standing. I really want to shout out Lydia for getting those trainings done as soon as possible. I will be reaching out to Alan. I will somehow support Alan in getting the code of conduct done. I asked some wonderful ideas to how I could accomplish that goal yesterday. And so moving forward, I'll try to make sure that happens before the next Lake Balboa meeting. With that being said, I did send out that email. I did CC you, Linda, in regards to making sure everyone has access to the planning 101 training. And then I do want to make sure I clarify that those folks that are specifically on the committee are the ones that will need it, right? But as the recommendation from your wonderful president, she wants to make sure everyone has that opportunity to have that training so you are all informed, but also in case someone needs to fill in that you all can. We do have quite some updates today. I will pinpoint a couple, but I will have to say, please, 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 please read that monthly profile because literally all your information that you would need in regards to updates, status board Lake Balboa as a board and updates from the department and the various city departments that we partner with are in there. First things first, I will say that the city clerk did update that board members must contact and discuss potential conflict with the office of the city attorney prior to engaging in any discussion on voting on a matter on the agenda. So I just want to highlight that word must. So there's no gray area there. You must do it. The wonderful thing about that is if you reach out to that city attorney and you cannot get in contact with them, reach out to me and I'll be that connecting point for you. The sooner you reach out to that city attorney, the better. You don't necessarily want to reach out to the city attorney the day of or a couple of days before the action is to be taking place, because they might be busy and we might not be able to get in contact with them in a specific amount of time. In regards to the reappointment tonight, just because that just popped up in my mind, I did ask some questions in regards to, just based on how item 12 is worded, will you be able to reappoint Lydia tonight? I believe it was shared that you have to look into your bylaws to see specifically what it says. And the only reason why I'm sharing that with you all tonight is because it doesn't say that you will be reappointing someone tonight, but the way I interpreted the agenda, it does say board action and discussion per that item, right? And so that's the information that I've received on the back end in regards to that. If no one is contesting that seat, then it looks like it should be able to happen tonight. With that being said, we will be having candidate info sessions that do start, I believe, December 10th. Trying to open up my sticky note for you all just so I can make sure I give you the exact time. It will be via Zoom, of course. All of them will be rolling out, a lot of them. It will be December 10th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. all on Zoom, and we will make sure we get that reservation link out as soon as possible. And then to let you all know,
what was that? I missed what that was.
Oh, the candidate info sessions.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be having multiple of those. The first one is starting this Saturday. In regards to the regional awareness engagement work groups, we will also be rolling those out. So you'll be receiving, the board will be receiving 2 emails from me in regards to that. And
So is that Zoom open to the public?
For the candidate info sessions, yes, I believe so.
So we can send out a blast on that.
Let me double check on that in case they are filtering out, but
Because we're trying to get more candidates.
Okay.
And that would fall under Michael. Michael wants to let people know, come on.
Let's do that. I will ask that question now, actually send the response directly to Michael, so Michael will know. Is that okay, Michael, excuse me. Okay, I'll do that. You all are Region 3, which means January 31st from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We will be having our virtual regional awareness and engagement work group meetings. What that means is that every neighborhood council that is in Region 3 will have the opportunity to join this work group, and we'll be working out some awareness and engagement that night. So that's the first date I have here for you all, okay? Again, just to be clear, Regions 3 will be January 31st from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Again, that is in your monthly profile, but I want to make sure you all specifically have that information. I will add, in regards to awareness and engagement, hopefully this gets you all excited. Some departments are partnering with us in regards to getting that NC awareness information out. That is, you don't have to write this down, but that is the Board of Public Works, the Bureau of Engineering, the Cannabis Regulations, Transportation, Youth Development, Water and Power, Garden City's office, and also the Convention Center. So that looks like we have about 8 partners right now that are listed in the monthly profiles in regards to other departments that will be sharing the good news about NC elections. There are, in regards to policy and government, there is a section now within the monthly profile that lists council files. So I will say there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 listed in there for you all to review and to take action on.
So I have a question about that.
Yes.
We were getting them from another area of done. Is that not going to happen now? It's going to be in the profile?
I'll have to follow up with that answer as well.
Because I think it
This is new to
started
me.
in November.
This is new to me that I've seen it, but I do know that you all were receiving about 1 or 2 a month, and the monthly profile you only see once a month. So I can follow up in regards to that question as well. That's a wonderful question, by the way. Thank you.
So I'm going to go back to the training for just a moment. What the board doesn't know is that I sent, I don't know, about 4 or 5 email messages requesting that the presidents of the neighborhood council be notified when board members have completed training. And I got a bit of pushback, and it was stated that, sorry, we can't do that. So Daniel, I'd like to give you a clue. I think when somebody signs into Cornerstone, the person has to identify their name and their password. At the same time, they should be able to identify their president. And when the training is completed, IT should be able to send out a message that I, Linda Gravani, have completed the training, and then send that information on to the president as well. I don't think it's a big deal. So you may pass that on as your own idea if you would like. Doesn't matter to me. Anyway, Linda Schwerin.
Okay, this is 2 things for Daniel. One, thank you so much for driving all the way from Long Beach for last Saturday at the park event. You know it was appreciated. And number 2, with regard to in-person meetings, we do have a section on our agenda tonight for board announcements, but I do have a question and a comment with regard for our ADA approved meeting places, including for elections. So I don't know how long you're going to be here, Daniel, but I don't know if I should address that now or wait until number 14 with updates. So
why don't you do it now since you've discussed it?
Well, it was a question, but yes, okay, I will. All right. So in April, as a representative from RNC, I met with a designated ADA inspector at Park V&Y, which was originally one of our locations for Lake Balboa in-person meetings, and also a potential for our elections. And that unfortunately did not work out well because there was hesitation on the part of Park V&Y. Since that time, I received notification the end of November and a copy of a checklist with regard to the ADA requirements for Park V&Y. And everything that they listed seemed to be positive with no issue at all. So saying that, my question would be, how long can neighborhood councils, of course, LB and C, us, we would like to know when we might get information as to when we can meet in person and where.
Thank you. So to answer your last question first and your first question last, in regards to meeting in person, of course, we're still following the state emergency, but more specifically, we are still following the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners policy, which means we'll continue to meet virtually. So our department, to be specifically, does not roll over if we meet in person or not. That is BONC, the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners. So I would like to start there. I will also like to mention that we are paying attention to the laws and the status in terms of state government, city government, county, just like everyone else will. Just like everyone else is. So we are well informed and we are paying attention, right? This is one of the reasons why I believe the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners did approve a list of 21 neighborhood councils to participate in an info session regarding a hybrid pilot program. So I will share that. That information is also listed in last month's monthly profile for you all to review.
I don't think that that's what Linda was talking about. We need approval for
Well,
the ADA so that
yeah.
we can use a facility, and we have never heard back. So we're waiting to find out, is there any place approved, yes or no?
So
And my guess is
to,
that Galt Street School is approved since we used it for voting in the past.
to finish my statement, I believe that was just me referencing it in person. So I don't have the answer of when we'll be able to meet in person. To answer your first question last, that ADA, I forgot what you call it, that you received from the department and the inspector, we ask that you reach out to the city clerk regarding any questions and information about your site that you will be meeting at. Because again, city clerk is in charge of that. So I won't have the actual direct answers for that. Please reach out to the city clerk. And as always, if anyone on the board, Linda S., it sounds like you may be the lead. If you don't receive any feedback or information from city clerk, then please reach out to me and I could be that connecting point again. But any questions in regards to your site and the inspection and when you all will meet, if we meet in person, will be directed to city clerk.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And what this particular item was called, as far as the completion, is an ADA site review. So the site review for Park BNY has been completed and it has been submitted. It does not, at least in my view, from what I've read, it does not appear to have any issues. So we'll take your advice, Daniel, and I'll reach out to the city clerk to see about an update, and then I can always get with you later if there are any questions. Is that okay?
Yes, please feel free. Whenever you reach out to the department, if anyone would like, please CC me in that email or that correspondence, just so that I could be informed. In case they can't reach out to you, Linda S., they may be able to reach back out to me, and I may be able to answer the questions you may have, ask the questions you may have, or answer the questions they may have on your behalf because I'm looped in.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to number 10. 81 years ago today, December 7th, 1941 became a date that would live in infamy. I mentioned to the board that my daughter and I were driving back from Mammoth and we stopped at Manzanar, and I got to read a little bit about some of the people, and I would just like to indulge in this if you don't mind. A gentleman named Togo Tanaka was born in Portland, Oregon, to Japanese parents on January 7, 1916. He grew up in Los Angeles and at 16 years of age graduated from Hollywood High. He attended UCLA and wrote for the Daily Bruin. On December 8, 1941, he was arrested and detained for 11 days. His crime: he was Japanese, and he also wrote for a Japanese American newspaper. Another infamous date was May 4, 1942, when Los Angeles City residents of Japanese heritage were to meet at the Japanese Christian Church at 822 East 20th Street, Los Angeles, California, with one bag of their belongings. Destination: Manzanar. Approximately 110,000 people were incarcerated in the 10 internment camps until 1945. What would you do if 3 years of your life were stolen? So what happened to Togo? He served Los Angeles on the board of American Red Cross, American Heart Association, Los Angeles Visitors and Convention Bureau. He became commissioner of LA Community Redevelopment Agency, was the director of Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce, was a member of Citizens Management Review Committee of Los Angeles Unified School District, to name a few. He was married for 68 years when he died at age of 93. I'm bringing this to your attention because our elected officials don't always do the right thing. Our job as grassroots organization is to watch what they are doing, get the community involved, voice our opinions, and act. Don't sit back and wait for someone else to step up. We're all in this together, and I must add, the events of the past several years show corruption in the city and county. And unfortunately, we do have to be aware. So I thought it would be apropos that we talked about this tonight, not that we're actually going to do anything about what happened in the past, but we have to be diligent and make sure things stay the way they should stay. Ruth Doxey?
Because I just want people to know, if they don't already, that at the Japanese American National Museum, now there's a book of names that has all the names. They're trying to get all the names of everyone that was interned at all the camps. And you can make a reservation and you can go and put a stamp by 2 of the names. You need to have their birth date, their birth year, name and birth year. And then you make the reservation. And it's a monument, a physical monument, and also the online repository of all these names. There's calling a monument also. So it's a thing to do to call out how bad this was and just serve as a monument to what these people suffered and what they went through. So I'm going to be going in hopefully February, I think.
Where is it?
The Japanese American National Museum downtown, LA.
Thank you. James Brown?
Yes, connected with this, I'd like to make mention of the fact that next Wednesday, December the 14th, at the West Valley LAPD Community Police Advisory Board, we're having a special speaker who will speak on the increase in acts of hatred, specifically against the Asian American and Pacific Islanders, Jews, and Blacks, and what we as a community can do to help thwart this, and the actions that we can take as a community and as part of humanity.
Thank you. Lionel?
Thank you for sharing your wonderful story, your trip. And I just want to say that regarding this topic, I watched last year, I watched a documentary called Mazinar, I believe. It's about the history of the Japanese Americans and Native Americans and that part of the California, because they have like a monument to honor them. And I encourage everyone here to watch that documentary because it's an awesome documentary. If you could do a Google search, Manzanar documentary, and I remember that that the granddaughter, I forgot her name, but she's involved with the Sierra Club. She's a very activist with the Sierra Club, and her grandmother, I believe, was, I forgot what she was, how she was involved, but she's directly involved, and it's a wonderful documentary, and I learned a lot about both the experiences of the Japanese Americans and Japanese during that time period, and the Native American tribe. I forgot the tribe's name, but it's how they're interconnected, and also talks about the water conservation issues, how the water was being siphoned off from the DWP and how it devastated the local environment. And it's wow, like so many things all at once. So thank you for that, Ms. President Linda. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, number 11, discussion of possible action regarding Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council June 18, 2023 election. These are the dates, and notice the segue. This is, we need people to come and help the community. The candidate filing dates, again, is 18th of February, and it ends on the 4th of April. So if anyone is interested in becoming a candidate for a board seat, and normally we have 17 board members. We would love to have people come and join us. The 19th of April is when the list of candidates would be released. And the 21st of April, the candidate photo and statement deadline is. So again, we're looking for candidates. We're looking for people who want to serve the community and to watch what the city government and county government is doing. Linda Schwering, your election chair, do you have anything you might want to add?
I think, yes, I do. The basic details are listed on the agenda under this item number 11. And of course, Lanny, who is our election administrator for Region 3, went into quite a bit of detail this evening. But we have a lot of work to do. We did have election candidate generic flyers, and we distributed those at the Owens Park event last Saturday. And in addition to that, we have plans to promote the 2023 Lake Balboa election at a proposed Lake Balboa, a Lake Balboa Christmas parade park event that is proposed for
It's not a
December.
Christmas parade.
I'm sorry, holiday parade that is proposed for December 23rd. And if that is approved, we will be promoting elections at that site as well. And in addition to that, of course, I would like to keep in close contact with our budget, our ad hoc budget members. And I just said budget, didn't I? I'm sorry, I had that on my brain. Election members, okay, ad hoc election committee members, and I am showing that on our committee is Michael Cortez, Jasmine Garcia, myself, Alan Nelson had been on the list, but in late August, he advised that he would prefer to take himself off the committee. And in addition to that, Jim Stein would like to become active and has been active on the elections committee. So I'd like to make note to add Jim Stein and to take Alan Nelson off of the committee list. I don't know what else we need to do this evening other than for me to make a statement or an announcement. Is there, Linda?
A statement or an announcement, John?
With regard to a change in the committee members for the ad hoc election committee.
Well, that you would do at your meeting.
Very good. Okay. So,
Thank you.
all right. So the only other thing would be that I'm planning to schedule an election committee meeting for January the 9th. And since we're running right into the election roll here, and our council does not meet in January, I'm suggesting January 9th to our election committee, and I will follow it up with an email. And in the meantime, would our committee members please check your calendar so that we can see if this date is acceptable? And I'll ask to see if anybody has any questions. Do you? No.
Yes, Daniel.
Oh.
Yes, can you please add me to that agenda?
You bet. Done.
Linda?
Okay. Yes, Michael.
I'll let you know now that unfortunately the 9th doesn't work for me because I will be making a presentation somewhere at night.
Okay, so I will say January 9. No for Michael. Thanks for letting us know now, Michael. Okay, we'll be working on it and we'll update between now and then.
Okay, Jared has asked for a couple moments. So before we get involved in something that's going to take a long time because he is not feeling well, I'm going to start without you, Jared. So item number 18 is going to be slipped in here. It's Council File 22-1489. And bear with me just a second. That was under number 18. And that is discussion of possible action regarding Council File 22-1489 regarding Van Nuys Citizens Advisory Council request for a moratorium on all development projects at the Van Nuys Airport. I am sorry. Oh, here it is. This is the motion that Jared wishes to make. In recognition of our neighboring councils, the Van Nuys Community Advisory Council, and the rising complaints of our neighbors, I move that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council submit a community impact statement in support of Council File 22-1489 regarding Van Nuys Citizens Advisory Council call for a moratorium on development at Van Nuys Airport, report backs in 90 days addressing concerns, and a request for greater transparency from Los Angeles World Airways.
Second.
Gravani made the motion, and who seconded?
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Thank you. And Jeremy. So what's happening is it was Van Nuys Citizens Advisory Council passed a motion, which I just read to you. Let's see, it says here, until they receive a detailed accounting of development projects that LAWA acted on since 2017. When the Van Nuys Airport opened up, it was a small propeller airport, and it's become much larger in recent years, needless to say. We have the propeller park on the west side of the airport. On the east side of the airport are more jets. There's more activity, and there's been some development that the Van Nuys Airport wants to increase the hangar building hangars at the Van Nuys Airport. So this prompted the Community Advisory Board Commission actually to discuss it. So I've got a hand or two up here. Bear with me just a second. Tim,
Linda, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's no problem. We have Timmy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we sure can. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me speak this evening. I want to clarify a couple things for you guys. Based on what you just read, it is correct, but it's a bit confusing as to what this motion actually states. The Van Nuys Citizen Advisory Council's motion is different from this motion, but this motion mentions the Van Nuys CAC motion. So 22-1489 is a city council motion that was put forward by 4 Valley Council members. When it got filed with the city clerk, Paul Koretz's name, Paul being the one from CD5 who seconded it, was replaced by Mike Bonin. And that is because Paul Koretz has termed out. And so on December 11th, that will be his last day. Actually, the 9th, I think, is a Friday. And that's why Mike replaced him. So the 3 remaining Valley Council members that are the movers for this motion are Bob Blumenfeld, City Council President Paul Krikorian, and Nithya Raman's office. And while this motion does not call for the moratorium, it mentions
you're cutting out, Timmy.
I can sort of
this motion that I believe your neighborhood council should absolutely support is that the council members are saying, hey, LAWA, you have not been transparent. You have not been honest. These residents are not getting any type of notification whatsoever. And there has been impropriety now found on some of the RFPs. And that's why they're calling for an investigation. This is huge. This is unprecedented. This is something that City Council has never, ever done to this degree for Valley residents. And it's about time we got this attention. So I want you to know Encino has already approved this. Woodland Hills is going to be approving it in their December 12th, meaning approving for a supportive CIS. So it would look really silly if Lake Balboa did not support this community impact statement, provide one in support of this, because you guys are arguably the most vulnerable community in the Valley. So if us out here in Woodland Hills and Calabasas and North Hills and Encino and Sherman Oaks are saying, yes, it's about time, let's get this done, it would be really, really embarrassing if Lake Balboa did not follow suit and do the same thing, because your
Well, we'll
people
have
are
a
the ones
discussion.
suffocating.
We'll have a discussion on that. Jared, you wanted to add something?
No, I thought she was cut off. So I was just going to clarify what the motion was in case anyone was confused.
Okay, there's a hand raised. The last three numbers are 929.
Yes, hi. This is Sue, and I do live in Lake Balboa, and I do live literally across the street from the Van Nuys Airport. And I want to second everything that Timmy just said. The motion, I'm so in support of this motion 22-1489 because it has been endorsed by other council members in CD4, CD3, CD2, and for us not to, acknowledge it and support it would be a big mistake, especially since Van Nuys Airport
Jared,
is
please
in the
mention
Lake Balboa
that Jonah
Neighborhood
Glickman
Council District.
and Max from CD6 staff.
I'm sorry, we're getting somebody else speaking. Is that, I'm going to mute you, Timmy. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Well, Van Nuys Airport is in the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council's district. So it really is imperative that the council supports the motion that asks for much needed transparency by LAWA. The community needs to be engaged in the vision plan, the master plan, and things, and not one just written by LAWA with no community input about future development, expansions or lease extensions and things that really do affect us. Because what happens at Van Nuys impacts the residents of Lake Balboa more than any other neighborhood in Los Angeles. So it's important that this motion is supported by the council here. Our neighborhoods, our schools, we're all being subjected not just to noise, but to the deadly, the toxic fumes that the jets are putting out on a daily basis. So this bill is really just the first steps in the right direction, making the welfare of the public a priority, not just the money interests and private jets and private charter companies who seem to be in control of Van Nuys. And the motion goes along with the already passed motion of 22-1125, which is asking the city attorney to look into the jet charters flying in and out of Van Nuys Airport and basically turning it into a commercial airport, which is not what that is designed for. That airport is in the most densely populated area of any other airport in the country. And sadly, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when something happens there, because it's such busy airspace. And it really does need to have more control. And this motion will be a step in the right direction. And I hope that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council does support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any comments or questions? Michael?
Have we done the motion yet, and is it now
The
open for
motion
discussion?
has been made, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay, so I definitely believe in supporting this motion. I agree it's in our boundaries, and I think if we do approve a motion, I think we should highly emphasized in the letter that it's in our boundaries and that we're the most impacted. I mean, I go outside and sometimes it's hard to breathe because of the gas I live very close to it as well too. So I definitely see it's important. That doesn't mean I don't support the airport. It just, I believe community engagement is very important for the, Lake Balboa. So that's it.
Thank you. Ruth Doxey?
Well, on the agenda, it says it's the BNY Citizens Advisory Council's request for a moratorium on all development projects. Is that what it's actually calling for, or it's just calling for transparency and knowledge about past development?
Jared?
I can speak to that a little bit. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, you guys are battling a little bit of COVID here. The motion is actually on a city council file that references the Van Nuys Airport Citizens Advisory Council motion. So it's a little confusing, I know, but the Van Nuys CAC passed their own motion up to city council, resolving that they specifically wanted a few things. They wanted a moratorium on future development until they received a report within 90 days.
In 90 days.
Within 90 days, yeah, about a list of projects, of past projects and awards that have been awarded, community engagement, compliance, environmental impacts, and proposal for future community engagement. And they also are requesting, a plan for transparency for the public that would, go on to, engage with the website and things like that. Sorry, it's difficult for me to speak right now.
That's good. Thank you. That clarifies it. Thank you.
That clarifies it. Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize.
Thank you. Jeremy, and then Jim Stein.
I just wanted to say that I have spoken with many people in the Lake Balboa area in regards to this. A good friend of mine, actually, she found herself on the news discussing the issue with the airport. And so it seems like everybody is on the same page regarding this, and we absolutely should support this and put our own CIS to match the other neighborhood councils. So absolutely, we should do this.
Thank you. Jim Stein?
I've lived here all my life. No, I don't live right underneath the Van Nuys Airport, but I was fully aware that it was here when I moved in, or when I, lived here. It provides directly or indirectly so many jobs. They do have many meetings that are poorly, unfortunately, attended. And for folks to come along and say, well, you did this or you did that, and you never made us aware, I think is a little bit unfair to them. And this community impact statement, I've tried very hard to listen, and unfortunately people have, what they've had to say is either they've been breaking up or talking on top of each other. I don't understand it clearly. I can't vote to support it.
Jeremy, you have your hand raised again? No. Okay, Danica?
Oh, Stacy has her hand up.
Sorry?
I saw Stacy has her hand up.
Okay. Danica?
Jim Stein, so where do we find out about these meetings that they've been having?
they're open to the public.
I know, but I mean, how do we, where do they publicize them for someone like me to find out about them?
Actually,
Outside of calling the airport.
the CAC meeting schedule is listed on the last page of our agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, used to have someone on our board who attended those meetings regularly and reported back to us.
Carol Newman.
I just want to know, can we please have the motion reread?
This is Jared's motion. In recognition of our neighboring councils, the Van Nuys CAC, and the rising complaints of our neighbors, I move that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council submit a community impact statement in support of Council File 22-1489 regarding Van Nuys Airport Citizens Advisory Council's call for a moratorium on development at Van Nuys Airport, report backs in 90 days addressing concerns, and a request for greater transparency from LAWA, which is Los Angeles World Airways.
Thank you.
Call for the vote.
Stacy?
Hi, is sound on? Yes.
Yep.
So I've attended some of these meetings, and I too was not oblivious to the fact that when I bought my home here, that there was an airport not far away. But there has been a marked change, even in the 5 years that I have been here, in the amount of traffic and the hours that there is intense traffic. And so I would urge you to support this, because it is not anti-airport. It is pro-community. And I think we need to partner with the airport, and the airport, more importantly, needs to partner with the community better, because there is a lack of transparency, and it is not a permanent moratorium on growth and development. It is a moratorium until there is greater transparency for a limited period of time. So I would encourage you to support this CIS. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you guys. It is not a moratorium at all. At all. You've gotten it confused. City Council did not adopt Van Nuys CAC's call for a moratorium. I just wanted to make that explicit to you guys.
Well, that's what the motion is. Jared.
I believe that the motion he was quoting within
motion-
City Council's motion, I believe he was quoting the Van Nuys CAC moratorium, which is
That's correct.
included, the statement is included in the motion, but City Council is not calling for a moratorium. I really want you guys to understand that. The motion does not in any way call for a moratorium. If you want, I have the motion in front of me right now. There, I believe, are 5 bullet points. I can read you exactly what they're calling for so that you're
Jared,
clear.
excuse me, Jared, do you want to change your motion?
My motion as it's written calls for support of the city council file. The way that it's written calls for support of the city council file.
And so you'll leave it intact?
Yeah, the way it's written calls for support of the city council file. So it should remain as it is. It doesn't
Okay.
call for a moratorium.
Last comment, Linda Schwerin.
Considering all the discussion this evening with regard to this particular council file and the Van Nuys Airport, if there is this much discussion with regard to our motion tonight versus what has been interpreted as the council file, I think my suggestion would be, if there isn't agreement to vote for this tonight, that we request someone from the airport advisory board to attend our next meeting and or possibly table this for the evening. That would be an alternate consideration other than making a vote tonight.
I would suggest that we vote on it and also have an airport representative at every meeting.
Good idea.
Okay, James, last comment.
Thank you.
And then we'll
I, based on what we've been listening to, or at least I've been listening to over this past 20 minutes or so, it sounds as though there's some confusion regarding a mixture of two specific motions put forth, whereby one is implying the calling for a moratorium, and then another person who just spoke a few minutes ago saying, no, it does not. And so based on that, it sounds like this is not politics as usual, but I think we need to have a clear understanding as to what this actually means and offering each side the opportunity to explain what is going on so that we can, in fact, make a logical decision that would best benefit the residents of Lake Balboa and not so much other areas, even though they voted for that.
Let me clarify the motion that we're voting on right now. The motion that we're voting on right now.
Let me rehear the motion. Let me hear the motion that was made.
Yes, the motion that we're voting on right now. I move that in recognition of the neighboring councils, the Van Nuys, excuse me, the Van Nuys CAC, which is the Citizens Advisory Council,
I'll
and the
read it
rising
for you,
complaints of our
Jared.
neighbors.
Jared, I'll read it for you. In recognition of our neighboring councils, the Van Nuys CAC, and the rising complaints of our neighbors, I move that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council submit a community impact statement in support of Council File 22-1489 regarding Van Nuys Citizens Advisory Council's call for a moratorium on development at Van Nuys Airport, report backs in 90 days addressing concerns, and a request for greater transparency from LAWA.
So it's that regarding that everyone's missing, right? It's the Council File 22-1489 regarding another council. And we're voting on the Council File 22-1489. Everything after that is just background information. So if you like, we can actually strike everything after that if that makes it easier for everyone.
Let me hear what you have.
So that would be in recognition of the neighboring councils, the Van Nuys CAC, and the rising complaints of our neighbors. I move that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council submit a community impact statement in support of Council File 22-1489.
And it's the same exact thing. Everything after that is purely background information.
I second, or I think there's already a second, correct?
Okay, so shall we amend?
I move to amend.
I'll second. So Jared made amendment and Gravani seconded. Discussion.
Let's vote.
Okay. This is on the amendment.
Yes, number 18A. Okay, James Brown,
Yes, as amended.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Abstain.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes. Jared Negron,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Abstain.
Jim Stein.
Dang.
Nine yeses, 0 nos, 3 abstentions, motion passes. Now we need to vote on number 18, correct?
Yes.
Okay. James Brown,
Number 18 was as the motion was originally stated?
Correct.
correct, with the moratorium verbiage in it.
So
No.
if you don't want it, you say
No.
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 Right.
No.
Michael Cortez,
No.
Ruth Doxy,
No.
Jasmine Garcia,
No.
Linda Gravani,
No.
Gary Kay,
No.
Danica Middleton is a no, Jared Negron,
No.
Carol Newman,
No.
Jeremy Pisanik,
No.
Linda Schwering,
No.
Jim Stein.
No.
Zero yeses, 12 noes, zero abstentions. Motion does not pass.
Thank you.
Before I run, thank you all so much for putting up with me. Have a lovely night. I'm
Feel
gonna go
better,
and fall
Jared.
asleep. Hopefully the
Thank
cough
you.
syrup. And congratulations everyone on the park reopening. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. I know everyone worked so hard on it. I wanted to be there so badly. So I'll see you all hopefully very soon.
Thank you. Would the secretary please note at 8:16, Jared has left the meeting.
Good night, everyone.
Lydia Grant.
Yes, this is Lydia. I'm sorry. I was really confused by those last votes. And I know it's in the recording, but I need a clarification because when you guys you went to the amendment and then the original motion should have been that amendment approved again, not talking about the moratorium. That moratorium disappeared when you guys made your amendment and voted positively in it. The amendment motion passed correct?
Correct.
Correct.
So then when you guys went to vote the next time, it should have been, we are approving the motion as amended. That moratorium word should never have brought up. That moratorium word had previously disappeared. You guys just approved the amendment and then you didn't vote for the amendment the way you voted. So I would ask that you re-vote. I see Daniel shaking his head yes. I would ask that you take that vote again for the new amended motion.
18A.
Yes.
So yes, I wanted to chime in and provide that clarity. I think by error and default, you all could be able to re-vote right now due to the language you all just voted on, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, misunderstanding.
yeah, so you vote, but however, in the error, because I want to make sure it's clear for the record, in you all's error, you did vote for the amendment, but you didn't vote for the amended item that you just amended. You voted against the item as it's stated on the agenda, if that makes sense, which is now null and void. So I believe just based on, thank you, Lydia, for that, what was voted on doesn't count because that's not what you all amended. So I would take up that, I would restate the amendment as the motion and vote on that because what you just voted on doesn't exist, if that makes sense. And Michael, you have a question?
So it stays as 18. There's no 18A. We're voting on 18A amended.
Yes, so, and you don't even have to say amended at this point because you all amended
It's just
it.
number 18.
Yeah, so it's just number 18. So you can, I believe you should be able to correct that error because again, 18A doesn't exist, if that makes sense.
Yes. So actually, I just want to clarify. So what happened was you made the motion that was 18. Then you guys did amendment that turned it into 18B and the first one became A. So now you guys approved the amendment and now we have to go back to approve the final motion as amended. So there actually will be two vote counts, one for the amendment and one for the actual motion as amended.
Okay.
So did everybody
So
understand that?
for
So
the-
we're going to
okay.
vote again.
Wait for the vote tally sheet. So then the amended one that we voted on will be 18B. And then now that we're voting on the motion that has been amended, that's 18, number 18. Why can't it? Is it
Wait.
went to 18A? We used to do 18 and then 18A.
That's fine. I'm just letting you know there should be 2 vote boxes for 2
Okay,
different votes.
so Lydia, just so you know, the previous one was 18A. Now this one's going to be 18.
Okay.
All right, let's take a vote.
You're voting on the motion as amended.
Amended.
Which is what I stated in my vote. I said as amended.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once,
Let's pause.
Okay, we can't have everybody talking. So we're going to revote, and we're going to revote on 18 as amended.
correct.
James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes. Jared Negron. Oh, he left, sorry. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Abstain.
Yeah, so that's my question now is how come people that abstained on 18A, which is the amended, and now when we're voting on that amended, they're not abstaining now? I'm just,
It was the clarity that was needed for 18. I believe what happened was folks still believe that they had to vote on 18 as it's written on the agenda. Once you all amended the motion, that now changes the motion on 18, on number 18. That's what happened. Folks were still reading the agenda and voting towards that, not necessarily voting for the newly amended motion.
okay. Okay, so 10 yeses, 0 no's, 1 abstention. Motion passes. So Negron moved, he made the motion. Who seconded this one?
Gravani.
Okay, so that stays the same. Okay, great. Thank you.
So sorry, everyone. Okay, number 12, discussion and possible action regarding Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council's open board seats.
President, just a second, please, if I could chime in real quick in regards to
Oh,
this.
time all the way.
You all are the best. So let me just say that real quick. Per your bylaws, it is required that one who seeks an appointment on the board may need to complete an application. And wonderfully enough, Lydia sent over that application. I forwarded it to your email. It looks like she can be reappointed tonight per your agenda.
Perfect. I'm looking for Michelle. Michelle, would you raise your hand, please? Or identify yourself?
See Michelle at all, any attendees?
I don't see a Michelle. Okay. I'm looking for somebody named Michelle Middleton. I mean, we don't have enough Lindas and enough James and Jims and
Now you're repeating the
Middleton.
last names.
So we just need duplicates of everyone. I don't see them. If you would just, everybody just take a look and see if you can find someone raise their hand. I'm just going to continue on reading. So number 12, discussion of possible action regarding Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council's open board seats. Lake Balboa currently has 3 organizational seats and 1 senior seat. And the seats cannot be filled if 90 days prior to an election. So we're still good. March is when we will not be able to fill these seats. As I mentioned to the board, I thought that Miguel was a residential, but he joined the board as an organizational member of St. Bridget of Sweden Church. So I made the correction, 3 organizational seats and 1 senior. And I do not see Michelle Middleton, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we have no applications or appointments for organizational, so they're still open. senior stakeholder is senior stakeholder representative shall be any person that meets the criteria for residential, business, or organizational and is older than 55 years of age at the time of selection. Lydia, are you there? It's your time to shine.
There she is.
Here I am. She's here.
Hi, Lydia. I understand you would like to be reappointed to the senior seat on the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council.
Yes, I would.
Board members, do you have any questions that you would like to ask Lydia? Well, I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council reappoint Lydia, and I'm going to mess up your last name. Pronounce it for me. I don't have it in front of me.
Gerasimovich.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, let's take a vote.
Okay, James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Absolutely, yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
$11 yeses, 0 nos, 0 abstentions.
Thank you. Daniel, I'm assuming I have to redo the oath of office.
If you would like, sure.
Well,
Yes.
she's being reappointed, so I guess we need to.
I'll stand for it.
Lydia,
So Lydia, if you'll stand on one foot and raise your left hand. I got one out of Jim.
all right. Would you raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me? I pledge to represent my neighborhood
I pledge to represent my neighborhood
with dignity, integrity, and pride.
with dignity, integrity, and pride.
I will encourage other points of view,
I will encourage other points of view,
even when they differ from my own.
even when they differ from my own.
I will respect, value, and consider everyone's opinion.
I will respect, value, and consider everyone's opinion.
I will find the good in my neighborhood and praise it and promote it.
I will find the good in my neighborhood and praise it and promote it.
To my neighbors and to my neighborhoods throughout the city of Los Angeles,
To my neighbors and my neighborhoods in the city of Los Angeles,
I pledge to do this to the best of my ability.
I pledge to do this to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, you're once again a voting member of the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. Thank
Yay.
you for your persistence. So you're allowed to vote tonight, just so you know.
You better pay attention.
Number 13, public comments. Please advise the neighborhood council if you are a registered lobbyist. Comments from the public on non-agenda items, issues, announcements, and complaints within the jurisdiction of the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. You have 2 minutes per speaker. The State of California Brown Act prevents the board from discussing your comments. You can also email your thoughts to Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council President at lindag@lakebalboanc.org. Glenn Bailey.
Glenn Bailey is an individual. I actually raised my hand related to the last agenda item, and then I'll do a quick public comment. And that is when you say voting, my understanding is that one of the 3 required trainings for funding items, like with ethics, funding, and the code of conduct. So the new board member or the newly rejoined board member can vote on all items except for funding items, which would include your MERs, et cetera. So just FYI on that.
Well, she's completed the funding training.
She has to complete all three. I understood earlier in the meeting she hadn't completed ethics. So to vote on funding items, you have to complete all three, the ethics, the funding, and the code of conduct.
Didn't Daniel clarify that?
That just applies to funding, not all the other items. All the other items are subject to your bylaws, and generally there's a grace period for most neighborhood councils. Anyway, yeah, you can have a conversation with Daniel on that. But so my public comment was earlier in the meeting, it was stated that the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment had scheduled the candidate information session Saturday, December 10th at 10 a.m., which I appreciate that announcement. But I want to express the concern, and this doesn't affect the general public necessarily, but does affect anyone involved with the neighborhood councils. And that is that we have a long-standing, very important neighborhood council alliance, Plan Check NC, that meets on the second Saturday of the month at 10 a.m. So what Dunn has done is they have scheduled the first candidate information session that directly conflicts with the scheduling of Plan Check NC, when they very easily could have scheduled it for later in the day after Plan Check NC had finished. And I just want to put that out there, that I know there's only so many days in the week, there's only so many Saturdays, but I just want to express my concern going forward that the department be sensitive to the scheduling of the election things and be sensitive with the other work, the important work that neighborhood councils do, especially in planning and land use, which is one of the most important things that we do. And folks work really hard to get the city planning department at these meetings. They're open to neighborhood council members, but also to stakeholders. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stacy?
Hi, like Glenn Bailey, I too had my hand up for a previous item, but it was not acknowledged. I actually had a question for Daniel when he was making his announcement, so I'll just put it out as a statement at this point, since I don't know if you'll allow him to respond, but for a future meeting is fine as well. But I wanted to get more information on the plan and the details about potential for hybrid in-person meetings. I know that plan is being piloted with some, but I wanted to get more information just about that pilot and what that likely could look like. And will there be like funding for the equipment for the NCs? Will that be provided or whatever? Thank you.
Thank you. Lionel?
Good evening, board members. Lionel Maris from Sun Valley. Here as an individual capacity, I'm here to say that I look forward to working with you in the upcoming new year. It's been a pleasure getting to know all of my fellow colleagues and neighbors in Council District 6. It's been wow, the past 2 years has been a lot of things going on in City Council, and I'm glad that I was able to join. I completed my 1 year anniversary this past November, because I joined the neighborhood council in 2021 November. So it's been a very informative experience that I've learned about city politics and government, because I studied public sector management. And I look forward to a productive new year with new city council members. And I hope that they will work well with us, the neighborhood council system, because we are the advisory boards and we are the front line in terms of working with the communities, neighbors directly in businesses, and that the new city council, and I reminded them time and time again that they have to work well with us. They have to learn to listen to our concerns and to improve our way of life for all of us. And it's time for change. Regardless of our political ideology, we should work together, get along, and hopefully the new council members and mayor and city controller will work together, compromise. And thank you so much. Happy New Year and take care.
Thank you. Okay, number 14, board announcements, update on Jesse Owens Park. Jim?
Oh, well, you didn't have my name on there. And so I thought maybe you were going to say something. Very successful. I estimate at one time or another, judging by the number of opportunity drawing tickets that were handed out, etc. We probably had 1,500 people there at one time or another. It was, we handed out flyers. The neighbors got involved. We handed out flyers. We did social media, and we even had ABC7 and for a few minutes, if you stayed up real late and watched the Saturday Night News. After the thing was over, approximately 200 valid signatures, and got the opportunity to talk to an awful lot of stakeholders. Everybody had a good time, and a lot of stakeholders showing interest, which in the neighborhood council, which would be good. These folks are going to be a real great resource. Thank you very much.
Jennifer?
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to thank you all so much for your support for my neighborhood and the work that we did. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to obviously do it without you all. So on behalf of my little pocket of Lake Balboa, thank you. I wanted to share with you a note, just a summary, and just, I live right by the park, and every day there are children and families playing. There was a dad there just throwing a football with his kid, a mom with a stroller, her young child interacting with the play structure on the wheelchair ramp. So, what we did as a community built more than just a playground. I got an email from a single mom that lives in my neighborhood the day after the event. And she said that this park is life-changing for her and her children because it allows her, I'm trying not to cry. It allows her now a safe opportunity to meet her neighbors. So thank you. Thank you to my community. Thank you to Neighborhood Council. Anybody who stuck around this long in this meeting, please check out the Rec and Park Committee meeting on December 13th. We have a lot more work to do at Jesse Owens. We have a lot more work to do here in Lake Balboa.
Thank you. And I want to thank you and Katie and Nate. You were instrumental in getting it started, getting it organized, getting the publication around to the community. It was just phenomenal. And of course, the cherry on the cake is a wonderful day on Saturday. It was phenomenal. Nate?
Thank you, Linda. Yeah, I just want to say that thank you for all the support from the neighborhood council. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. And when we first got there and we were setting up tables, Jim and Ruth and Linda Schwering and I, I was getting a little nervous because we were the only ones there. And then when I ran back home to get some other things, I saw families walking to the park down the street with kids in wagons and things like that. And then I knew the day was going to be successful. And the couple of days following the event, Jennifer and I walked out there and there were people playing at the park and, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. So it wasn't just that amazing day. It's what's happening at the park after that. So thank you, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council.
Delighted.
Thank you.
The Birmingham track team came and ran through the ribbon as opposed to a ribbon cutting. And the coach says, he enjoyed that and he was very happy to come. And I appreciate Nate. I thought that was a phenomenal idea. But the coach says, okay, now that we've run through and we've seen the Jesse Owens Park, I'm going to have to go back to school and give our students a history lesson on who Jesse Owens was. And that's huge. And one of the things that the Rec and Park Committee is going to be discussing, I believe, is the plaque. We would like to have a plaque to honor Jesse Owens, the person, not necessarily the athlete. But trust me, there is a procedure and there's all kinds of things that Rec and Park is requiring, but we can get it done if we can get people cleared out of the park and own it again for the community. Daniel?
Yes, thank you. I also wanted again say congratulations on such a wonderful event. Even leading up to being able to take action on certain items so that event could be a success. I know it was a long road ahead. We just wanted to make sure we were all in compliance, and I know for sure I could not do that without the support and the collaboration with the department and LBNC and the city clerk's office and the city attorney's office. So we were able to straighten that out. I did want to chime in and say, I want to give a huge shout out to an individual specifically. I'm not counting anybody out, but Gary K. I did have a conversation with him. I did remember that the event was happening. I didn't have the information, and he got that information literally to me about 2 days before. And so without his support as well, I would not be able to show up on Saturday unannounced and surprise you all with me being there. So thank you, Gary, for your support during that process as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Glenn Bailey?
Yeah, congratulations, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. Sounds great. So your desire to have a plaque, I just wanted to share with you that, yes, it is an effort, but the good news is that recently 2 neighborhood councils got together and did have a historical plaque installed in a park. And so there is a whole process, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel because they can tell you step by step what they had to do to get the process, the approval, etc. It ultimately did require it culminated with it had to go before the Board of Recreation Parks Commissioners for their approval. So yes, allow probably 9 months for that cycle.
Well, we were hoping for February for Black History Month, but maybe it'll be in a year. Gary K?
I want to be sure we're done talking about the Jesse Owens Park, but so if there's anything else, otherwise I do have a couple other announcements.
Please.
Okay, thank you. In the interest of keeping us stakeholders updated with current information, I want to mention that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council website, specifically the calendar, still shows there being an EP meeting this coming weekend. I'd recommend that we try to have that taken off, especially before the email blast comes out late Friday night, early Saturday morning about it. And then secondly, I believe that there was a November 29th ad hoc budget committee meeting that was recorded, and that video has yet to be posted. And I want to remind the entire board, specifically committee chairs, that over a year ago, we voted to record our meetings and to post them within 5 days. We're well past that. And so we're never accused of not being transparent with our stakeholders. I think it's important that we honor that motion that was passed. So those are my 2 announcements. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anything else. Number 15, Budget Advocate Region 3 updates. Glenn Bailey.
Yes, thank you, Glenn Bailey. I am one of the 2 Region 3 budget advocates. We still are in the process of filling that 3rd vacancy. And I apologize. I'm doing double duty tonight, and they're about to get to me at my other meeting. So if I cut this short, Carol, I'm sure can fill in. But here's the quick synopsis. The budget advocates have started meeting with the 40 or so city departments to get their input on their budget requests, and also to bring to them the neighborhood council's concerns, suggestions, etc. Those will result in recommendations that will be put forward and then all consolidated into a white paper, hopefully in January of next year. And so while some of the departments the meetings have been held, most of them are still in the process. And so there's still time to get input. So I, again, invite you all to do that as individuals, as a board, however you'd like to do that. I think I'm not even sure that any of the actual reports have been finalized, but some of them are in the process. Secondly, because I don't want to forget it, we have established the date for the neighborhood council budget day, and that's going to be on Saturday, June 17th, 2023. We don't know if it'd be in person or virtual, so just save the date, please. Sorry, this is a perfect storm for me tonight. I do want to mention two things really quick. In terms of the city's budget situation, the second financial status report was recently provided by the CAO, and I want to give you that council file number. It was heard by Budget and Finance Committee at a special meeting this week on Monday, and you can listen to the comments on that or review it. It's council file 22-0600-S99. It does include some concerns, in terms of going forward as far as the city budget and potential financial implications. And there were a number of questions raised by council members in that committee, so you can take a look at that. And the second thing I just wanted to mention was a council file that we're tracking that relates to neighborhood councils and the budget advocates is, where is it? It's on my list. Okay, oh, here it is. Council file 11-1020-S3. And I believe that you have already took a position on that, filed a community impact statement. Thank you very much for doing that. There was so that was a motion to basically not only change the administrative code from budget advocates to budget advocacy, but there were some other recommendations that came from the Council Budget and Finance Committee. And we just released on that council file number was the city attorney's draft wording. And we're very concerned because the city attorney's draft wording does not comply with what the action of the Budget and Finance Committee was, which then was voted on by the City Council. So I'd ask is maybe perhaps you could take a look at that. And you may want to refile your community impact statement or whatever, but it goes beyond just changing the name, just giving you a heads up on that. And with that, I'll conclude. Thank you very much. Oh, and thank you so much for agendizing. I wish all neighborhood councils were as diligent as you by including the website of the budget advocates on your agenda and also listing your 2 budget representatives. If every neighborhood council did that, it would be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Well, it's a start. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't see any questions. So shall we move on? Yahoo! Number 16, discussion and possible action regarding the Sepulveda Basin Vision Plan. Ruth Doxey is going to talk about it, and you can do the motion.
All right, should I make the motion first?
Yeah, sure.
This is kind of complicated. All right, so I move that due to the secrecy involved in scoping and development of the proposal to create a Sepulveda Basin Vision Plan as proposed by Council Member Martinez, and the complete lack of community consultation or engagement, the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council recommends that the vision plan and contract C-129657 in the authorized amount of $2,339,654 awarded to Geosyntec Incorporated on November 18th, 2022 by the Board of Public Works be rescinded.
I second.
I have
Ruth
to get
made
a-
the motion, Gravani seconded. Discussion. Do you want to explain that, Ruth?
Yes, sorry, I need to get a headset because my family is protesting hearing the. By playing
Don't they
loud
want to
mu-
join the neighborhood council?
No, by playing loud music. Okay. Now, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is the result of the meeting, the last Sepulveda Basin Wildlife Area Steering Committee meeting, which we want to stop the work of the following contract that's mentioned in this motion. This was from Council Member Martinez because it was without any community consultation and without transparency. The vision plan objectives are mentioned on the now infamous tapes. The vision plan's time frame is too long and its scope prioritizes the Olympics and defers restoration and community benefits to a 25-year time horizon. Furthermore, because state and federal agencies tend to defer to local jurisdictions, available money to do important restoration and climate work won't be available to our community. And with respect to the selected contractor, which was Geosyntec, the Center for Biological Diversity and LA Waterkeeper, which are both nonprofits, are suing the county to stop the LA River Master Plan, which was led by Geosyntec Incorporated, because they ignored community input to use biological means to mitigate flooding, which was championed by the US Army Corps of Engineers. And the county instead proposed to raise the concrete walls of the river. So the contract can be rescinded if it's done within 5 council meetings of awarding the contract. So that's the background for that motion. And so I want to show you what the contract involves. Okay, I know this is small. Let's see. This is a map from Councilmember Martinez's meeting. See if I can make it. Can we still see all the parts? Yes. So I'll make it even bigger. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this contract is for P3, the potential site for the aquatic center up here just south of Victory Boulevard, P3, and for P1, additional amenities to Sepulveda Basin Sports Complex, which is over here. They want to have soccer fields. They want to increase the number of soccer fields, which if Glenn Bailey were still here, he would tell you that at the meeting, I'm not sure what meeting it was, but where these are the baseball fields that were put in, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, directly across from the Lake Balboa Park.
Right.
There used to be just empty fields. So those, and then so he was told, or they were told that this area would not be developed. So that was an issue he had with that. So they wanted to develop that. So that is what the contract is for, to build those things. Neither one of those, as far as I know, it was going to be used for anything for the Olympics, but
Not the baseball parks?
well, the ones that I'm talking about, the P3 and P1 that they want to
Develop.
that this contract was awarded for.
Got it.
So that's what the contract, let's see. That's like what the contract is about. And the main reason they're against it is because we want to have it rescinded is because it was done without community input.
Great, thank you.
Any questions?
Ruth, is there any possibility that you can send me a link to that map you just showed?
Yes, I can forward you the email, Melanie.
Thank you very
Winter
much.
from
I
the-
appreciate it.
Sure. Let me jot it down. Send it, Jim. Map.
Okay, well, if there's no discussion, shall we vote?
I just have a question. So
Oh,
just
yeah,
to-
Michael,
So
sorry.
just to clarify, the vision plan had no community engagement or input, and that you're saying that Councilmember Martinez, when she was council member, created the vision plan without community engagement input, and what you shared was done
No,
without.
sorry, the lack of community input was on the awarding of this contract to Geosyntec.
For $2 million.
Okay, so it was regarding the contract, but not the vision plan had community engagement input.
I believe so. I don't know that much about the vision plan, but I think Viana might, maybe she can clarify.
Deanna has her hand raised. Deanna,
Yeah.
why don't you jump in?
Definitely. I want to share, what information I know about this, and I have somewhat of a picture. So the contractor or firm that's been awarded this contract was not selected by Council District 6. Instead, the RFP that initiated this process and started the bid was set independently by the Bureau of Engineering. At least on the field level of our office, we had only found out after the contract had been awarded on BOE's terms. That being said, I still agree with a lot of the sentiment here that there wasn't a lot of visibility and just information shared with the community. I will also say that the firm that this was awarded to has spoken to our office in the last week or so. They have a list of maybe, every single organization that is adjacent to or related to the basin that they are going to start doing outreach should they proceed. And from what they've communicated to us and our planning team, they're only interested in providing improvements that the community would want, and they seem to be sensitive to it. That being said, you're welcome to form your own opinion about that, but that's just what information I know.
Thank you.
Shall we take a vote?
Do we need to restate the motion or just reread what's on the agenda?
Please take the motion.
Reread it.
I'll read it for you. Motion. I move that due to the secrecy involved in scoping and development of the proposal to create a Sepulveda Basin vision plan as proposed by Council Member Martinez, and the complete lack of community consultation or engagement, the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council recommends that the vision plan and contract C-129657 in the authorized amount of $2,339,654 awarded to Geosyntec Incorporated on November 18, 2022 by the Board of Public Works be rescinded. Jasmine?
Am I allowed to vote on this or no, because it has to do with funding?
It's not our money.
Right, it's not our money.
I believe you can vote on it because we're not voting on money. There's money involved, but you're not voting to pay for anything.
Thank you.
It's just basically rescinding a contract. So I would say the answer is yes.
Come on, camera, Mom.
Danica, we're waiting for you.
Okay, James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Abstain.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Lydia Gerasimovich,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton abstains, Jared Negra, he's gone, Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin,
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
10 yeses, 0 nos, 2 abstention, motion passes.
Thank you. Number 17, discussion and possible action regarding Council File 22-1474, presented by Council Member Koretz on November 22, 2022, regarding the Sepulveda Basin. Ruth Doxey.
Okay, and I'll read the motion first and then do the background.
Perfect.
So I move that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council submit a CIS in support of Council File 22-1474 CFMS, moved by Councilmember Koretz on November 22nd, 2022, regarding the possible use of the Sepulveda Basin by the LA Rams and LA 28 if it is amended to investigate the development of and contractor selection process for the task order solicitation and the selection of the consultant. So let's see, I was going to show you the.
Well, we need a second on it before we can discuss it.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, Ruth Doxey made the motion. James Brown seconded.
So this is the council file. If you want me to read it or not. I don't think this was included on the your agenda items. No, I sent it to Linda Gravani. I didn't see it on the list of items.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Was? So the Sepulveda Basin, located in the heart of the San Fernando Valley, is an all too rare region of open space remaining in our urban concretized city. The 2,000-acre recreation area is a flood control basin managed by the LA City Department of Recreation and Parks and includes 2 parks, an 80-acre sports field, an archery range, 3 18-hole golf courses, Balboa Lake with boat rentals and fishing, Balboa Park and Sports Center, playgrounds, a velodrome, bike paths, hiking trails, tennis courts, a Japanese garden, an off-leash dog park, a premier wildlife preserve, and the only currently unpaved stretch of the Los Angeles River. It has been reported that there have been discussions with the Los Angeles Rams and the LA 28 Olympic Committee for possible use of the Sepulveda Basin. As with other major protected open spaces like Griffith Park, the Sepulveda Basin is a citywide multi-use facility whose future should be very carefully considered. With public distrust of the city government at a high point, it is essential to daylight backroom deals that may adversely affect any public property, particularly affecting wildlife preserves or other similarly designated areas, and to provide a venue for a public hearing with public comment and full disclosure of any such plans far in advance of making any corporate deals. I therefore move that the City Council direct or request the Department of Recreation and Parks, the City Attorney, and all other relevant departments, bureaus, or agencies with pertinent information to report back in 30 days on any and all pending deals with the Los Angeles Rams and any other corporate or other entities for the future use of any portion of the Sepulveda Basin recreation area and any possible negative environmental impacts associated with those plans. I further move that the Los Angeles Olympic Committee be requested to report back in 30 days to the Ad Hoc Olympics Committee on the specific plans LA 28 has in the Sepulveda Basin and the necessary CEQA clearances involved to ensure that LA 28 continues to meet its no build mantra. It's presented by Paul Koretz and seconded by Joe Piscino. So they included the LA Rams and LA 28, but they didn't include what they want to have amended to include is to investigate the development of the contractor, which is Geosyntech Incorporated, how that contractor was selected. And the selection of the consultant, which
That's not included in this motion you just read, correct?
correct. So we're voting to, would we vote to submit a CIS in support of this motion, which is the council file 22-1474, if it is amended to investigate the development of
Right.
and the contractor selection for that, the contract for the pool, the aquatic center, and the soccer fields.
No questions? Oh, Carol.
Can we reread the motion, please?
Yes. I move that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council submit a CIS in support of CF 22-1474, moved by Councilmember Koretz on November 22nd, 2022, regarding the possible use of the Sepulveda Basin by the LA Rams and LA 28, if it is amended to investigate the development of and contractor selection process for the task order solicitation and the selection of the consultant.
Thank you.
James Brown.
In the interest of transparency, particularly as of late, I think it's important that all aspects of this particular instance, I started to use the word deal, but it's not a done deal yet. But I think it's very important because it affects so many people, not just today, but also down the road. And so in the interest of transparency, I think we need to set the ball in motion and to keep that ball rolling, to insist that in any deal that involves the use of public funds and facilities, that all the T's be crossed and the dots crossed. And so I would vote in favor of this.
Sharon Brewer.
Does anybody know what interest the Rams have in the basin? Obviously for profit, but I was just wondering whether anybody knows why their name is even in there. Thank you.
Well, they're thinking somehow of using something. We don't know anything about it. Nobody at the wildlife area steering committee knew anything about what they wanted for training. Training was the rumor, somewhere to do some training. So, and that's what we don't know anything about it. What's been discussed, who's been discussing it at what meetings? We don't know.
I believe, Ruth, you mentioned that Glenn Bailey had requested that both Encino and, well, probably all neighborhood councils be attending meetings for LA 28 or for the Olympics, and maybe that we should discuss that at a future meeting as well. Carol Newman and then Jim Stein.
We probably all already know this, but the Rams acquired a large parcel of property in Woodland Hills, actually across from my office, coincidentally, where they're going to be having at least headquarters in the valley. So they're going to be having a big footprint in the valley potentially. And I'm just speculating that maybe, they're looking for areas where they can train.
But until we know that for certain, we can't really trust this.
No, but we know they're establishing a big footprint in the valley. We do know that.
So are the Kings.
Jim Stein.
Yeah, I can't say specifically what the Rams have in mind in the Sepulveda Basin. It concerns me that a lot of people seem to have things in mind in the Sepulveda Basin, and they don't want to talk to us about it. I have put it on Rec and Park meetings at least 3 times now, and been told that no one is available to speak about it because the decision's already been made. And they don't want to speak to me about it, and that bothers me. And that's how I
Me
feel.
too.
Mhm.
That's
Deanna,
how
do
I
you have
feel
anything
about
you
this.
can add?
I'm sorry.
I wanted to know if Deanna had anything to add. Does she know anything about it?
I had heard over a year ago that the Rams had contacted the city looking at some of the properties around the Sepulveda Basin, including the golf park north of Victory Boulevard, to potentially use that as a training ground. But after they made their purchase in Woodland Hills, it was my understanding that they were not interested in pursuing any property in the Sepulveda Basin. That may or may not be true, but that was my whole take on this.
Thank you. Shall we vote?
Yes.
James Brown.
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Lydia Gerasimovich,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes, Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
and Jim Stein.
Yes.
12 yeses, 0 no's, 0 abstentions. Motion passes.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, we've already done number 18. 19, discussion and possible action regarding a council District 6 candidate forum, possibly with other neighborhood councils. I thought since this was very important to our community, that we should think about a candidate forum either by ourselves or joining in with other neighborhood councils. I think the larger the venue, the more participation we'll have by the candidates themselves, as well as the community. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council participate in the Council District 6 candidate forum.
Second.
So Gravani made the motion and Carol seconded. Discussion. Okay, let's vote.
James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Abstain.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Lydia Gerasimovich,
Abstain.
Gary Kay,
Abstain.
Danica Middleton is a yes, Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Abstain.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
8 yeses, 0 nos, and 4 abstentions. Motion passes.
Thank you. I have on number 19 where you can find the candidates that have already thrown their hat in the ring so you can keep up to date. It's ethics.lacity.org/elections. I think the A on the end is a mistake. 20, discussion and possible action regarding the end of the COVID-19 state of emergency effective 28 February 2023 by Governor Newsom. Okay, at the end of the state of emergency, neighborhood councils can meet in public. Earlier, Daniel had mentioned about the hybrid. The hybrid has a lot of caveats that will take, I guess, about a year or so to figure out. It's not going to be something that's going to happen in the near future. The cost of the hybrid meeting would be 10 to 20,000 at first guess for each neighborhood council for equipment. So that's to have a hybrid meeting. There's lots of bills that are in effect that say you must do this, you must do that in order to have a hybrid meeting. Effective the 1st of March, we can be live. We can meet in public. We do not have to use Zoom, and we cannot use Zoom because that would be a hybrid meeting with all the rules and regulations to follow. So with that in mind, we would be having in-person meetings without Zoom. We can stream, which is what we have done in the past. Questions would be from people in the audience only. There would be no questions coming from people that would be streaming. So we need a location effective the 1st of March. LAUSD school facilities do not have an update. They had a hack on their website, so they don't have a lot of information. But we do have in our budget $600 for facilities, and I have been given an email where we can request the use of Galt Street School. For Galt Street School, COVID-19 requirements are non-existent. We don't need any specific rules and regulations for that. We do have a budget of $330 for refreshments. That also includes committees. We need copies of the agenda, which we have in our budget, $100 for the year. And I have requested the flyaway, what their facility is for committee meetings. So I just want us to think about that because we don't meet in January. We meet in February, and that means there's only a month if we're going to have live in-person meetings. Carol Newman and then Michael.
So I'm not clear. Are we required now to go back to in-person meetings, or is this discretionary? Because we haven't, if it's discretionary, I think we should vote on it.
It does, to me, it does not appear to be discretionary. And the reason I say appear is because, as Daniel said earlier, Board of Neighborhood Commissioners is going to tell us what we can and cannot do. But having said that, they'll tell us at the last minute and we'll be unprepared. Then it'll be, okay, it'll be June and there'll have been an election and nobody will know anything about a facility. I do think that we should be prepared and think about it and get some action in motion. What Board of Neighborhood Commissioners is looking at is the hybrid. It's not necessarily in person, but they're the final word on it. Danica?
We also need time because we're going to have to submit for facilities use through LAUSD too.
Well, that's what I mentioned. Their portal was hacked and they don't have new information. So I have an email address where we can, quote, lease the place. But we do need to.
Wait, are you talking about the portal to apply for the LA facilities use?
Correct.
No, it's up and running now because I've been doing that for STAG.
I was told today by the department itself that they do not have availability for us to use Galt Street Auditorium, that there's a whole procedure. They do it for 3 months and then we have to renew it for another 3 months and renew it for another 3 months, etc. So we need to send it to facilities-use@lausd.net. But we can make a request and they have a form that they'll send us and then we complete the form. Michael?
So just for clarity purposes, you just want us to be prepared in the case that Dunn lifts the or changes where we can meet in person, even though the California is lifting the state of emergency. It's all really depending what Dunn does. But you just want to be prepared.
Well, okay, so tomorrow, let's say Board of Neighborhood Commissioners says, okay, we can have the in-person meetings. Well, we can't do the hybrid meeting. We don't have the equipment. We don't have the protocol. We don't know what we can and cannot do because the bills that are in effect require, well, for example, if there's a glitch and some of the equipment isn't working, we have to stop our meeting immediately. We cannot have our meeting. Another caveat would be that we would have to be in a location where people could come if they wish. But we have to post where the locations are that other board members are at the meeting. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. And I think there's 18 neighborhood councils that are working on this. And like I say, there's special equipment that's needed. And it will cost $10 to $20,000 per neighborhood council. And when are we going to purchase that? Where's the budget for that? That is more questions than answers. And if indeed the state of emergency is lifted the 1st of March, that's the date of our neighborhood council meeting. What are we going to do? Sharon Brewer, you have your hand raised. Are you part of that group?
Which group?
The hybrid group?
Yeah, Rosita is an alternate, but basically Bonk doesn't determine when neighborhood councils go back to any in-person meetings. From what I understand, the governor can go and say there's no state of emergency. LA City and the city council can decide that they still want to have it. Then there's the obvious problems with the different Brown Act versions that are legislative that the department has been monitoring and stuff like that. So basically to go, and at least the way I understand it, listening to everybody, it doesn't, March 1st wouldn't be when we're able to go back on there, because there's so many different wheels turning and stuff like that. And I think that's the wrong analogy. But anyway, things that depend on this stuff. But I do agree about the cost and the hybrid. And basically, I don't think we should be doing hybrid when we've got elections coming up, because basically it could give the people doing the hybrid an advantage over the people not able to meet in person. But anyway, it's just, like I said, I think there's more to just the governor declaring the emergency, there not to be an emergency. Anyway, I'm sure I confused everybody. I did myself.
It's okay. We're all confused. Thanks, Sharon. Linda Schwerin. Linda?
You're muted, Linda.
Apologies. I'm lowering my hand. I believe what I wanted to say has already been addressed.
Okay, thank you. Daniel?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify what you're proposing is a plan B, right? I think a plan A would still come up with a plan if you had to do the candidate form virtually, if that makes sense. So I think that was more directed to Michael. I think that's what I'm hearing Linda saying, like, let's be prepared, let's be ahead. So when it happens, we don't fall short because we didn't prepare.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen, but when the state of emergency is lifted, then these other Brown Act stipulations come into play. And we don't have the equipment. We don't have a lot of the stuff that's going to be required. So what are we going to do? Lydia Grand?
Yes, Daniel, please pretend I'm not saying anything, okay? I just wanted to let the board know that the city council voted on Wednesday to end the city's state of emergency due to COVID-19 on February 1st, 2023. I was just reading that because I thought it should go in the minutes.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. So effective February 1, if there is no state of emergency in the city of Los Angeles, that means we can meet in person. And that the Brown Act changes are in effect for a hybrid meeting. Maybe we should meet in January and not meet in February.
That's a
Ruth?
bad idea.
Ruth?
Well, Daniel's saying that Bonk is the one that tells us what we're going to do. So even if the city council does that, doesn't Bonk have to meet and do their thing and then tell us what the neighbor councils are going to do?
Yeah, but Bank isn't making the decision on their own. They're following the requirements of the city. And then they'll vote on it for us. Danica? You muted.
So as I understand it, you just want us to come up with a place right now where we can meet, correct?
Which I believe is Gold Street School. And I just want us to be aware that this could happen, which would mean that we would need to have a special meeting in January. We need to have all the ducks in a row because I don't want us to find out at the end of February that we need a place to meet on March 1. Is that cool? So I'll start the ball rolling. Perfect. We don't need to vote on anything.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, 21, budget decision, budget discussion and possible action regarding October 2022 MER. Linda Schwerin.
Oh, good, I'm unmuted. Okay, with regard to the October 2022 MER, both the October MER on number 21 and also on number 22 have just become available. My apologies, they have not been posted, so they will be screen shared tonight, and I will post them directly after the meeting, so we will share them now. Wow. Okay. You all see this?
No.
Uh-oh. All right, so let's,
While you're doing that, Jasmine, since it's finals, you can leave if you wish. These are funding items that you cannot vote on.
Okay. I will see you guys in a month or 2 months in February. Have a good night.
Okay, so it is at 9:28 p.m. Please show that Jasmine is leaving. Go study.
okay, folks. So now are we screen sharing for,
October.
Yep, we got it.
okay. So you're viewing now the MER for October 2022. And this is actually pretty basic. I've checked the figures, they appear to match. I'm going to scroll down slowly so that you can see them. If you look where you see the little hand, it shows what we spent, and the net available was $26,706.94. And it includes all the expenditures for October of 2022. So here is the last of it. So I'm proposing that we approve the October 2022 MER monthly expenditure report for Lake Balboa NC.
I second.
Was that you, Michael?
Yes.
Thank you. Discussion? Let's take a vote.
James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Lydia Gerasimovich,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
11 yeses, 0 no, 0 abstentions, motion passes.
Thank you very much. Number 22, budget discussion and possible action regarding the November 2022 monthly expense report. Linda Schwering.
A couple of questions.
Yes. Excuse me, Ms. President, I just wanted to make sure we clarify that Lydia is just currently missing the last piece of ethics. So that is.
So she can't vote
yeah,
for funding.
it would just be ineligible for the
Sorry about that.
Step in.
So do we need to revise that?
Okay, so it's
You
10
do.
yeses, 0 nos, 0 abstentions, and 1 ineligible.
Thank you. Linda,
Yes, so we are on to number 21 for the November.
22.
I'm sorry, number 22 for the MER. Okay, let's do this.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks. I finally learned how to share the screen. Okay, you will see on your screen now the latest monthly.
Nothing's on the screen, Linda.
Pardon me?
Nothing's on the screen.
Oh, it says it is here. Just a moment. Let's try this again. Okay. I am trying to share November.
Linda Gravani and Lydia Grant, secretary will note that Lydia Gerasimovich left the meeting at 9:32.
Thank you.
Are you able to see the November MER?
No.
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 Okay. All right. So, just a second. Let's do this. Can you see it now?
Nope.
Oh, this is not a good thing, is it?
There you go.
You got it?
Not really. We've got something that you're screen sharing, but it's not the MER.
Well, I'm not, oh wait, I'm not screen sharing anything. Wait a minute.
Yes, yours says Zoom. It's just the Zoom window.
That's no good. All right, just a second. Let me stop sharing. Let me come down here. I need to do screen share and then pick the item, right?
Right.
No, other way.
Your item has to be open.
Well, I thought it was.
to
Okay,
pick it.
let's try this again. Okay. Now, okay, I'm opening this here. For some reason, you're not seeing it, and I don't know why.
Are you clicking on the green screen share at the bottom first?
No, actually, it's opened up the report.
Okay, just click on the green where it says the share screen with the upward
Now, let's see.
upward arrow. Click on that first.
Here we go. Sorry, I needed to update. So now can you see it?
There we go.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So you're viewing the monthly expenditure report, or MER, for November 2022, and you will see what we had on the left at the beginning of the month. As you scroll across to the right, you can see what we've spent. You see my little hand thing moving up and down?
We do.
Yes.
Okay. Under outstanding is $2,400. And I will explain to you that because we did not receive this MER until very late today, the $2,400 is outstanding because it includes an expense from the Jesse Owens Park event. So it's listed as outstanding, and the amount has been included here. So this is current, it's up to date as of actually yesterday. And so, oops, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have scrolled so fast.
Yes, slow down. Go back up.
Slow down. Okay. So
Okay, this one.
what we have spent so far, you see the category here. Office, outreach, elections, nothing so far. No community improvement, neighborhood purposes grants. We had spent $1,000, $2,000 left. And then the basic following of this will show you the expenditures that the council has made in the month of November. Most of these are operational expenses. You'll see that here, $918.70. And the one thing that it lists is the outstanding for the Jesse Owens Park event. It's listing as outstanding here. It will also be shown as completed in December, but it has been subtracted. That's not a normal thing, but we're last minute and the city clerk has complied, so we are up to date. So let me scroll back up to the top. And this will show you what's available. You may question, perhaps, if we go all the way to the left, that the beginning balance is $36,706.94. You will recall that our budget for this fiscal year is $32,000. So in November, this beginning balance reflects the rollover funds that the city clerk has added to our budget and then subtracted everything we've spent so far. So that's why you don't see a lower amount here at the end of the month, because the city clerk has already put our funds from rollover into this report, even though we have not considered it tonight, and we will do that.
How much was the rollover?
The rollover actually turned out to be $10,000.
Yeah.
And the $10,000 was rolled over, added in from the last month, and then subtracted everything that's been spent so far.
Okay, do you want to make a motion, Linda?
Well, if there are no questions, the answer is yes.
Do it.
All right. Okay. I move Lake Balboa approve the November monthly expenditure report, MER, for 2022.
Second.
November 2022.
I thought that's what I said. Yes, November 2022.
Second.
Linda Schwerin made the motion, James Brown seconded. Discussion? Let's take a vote.
James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin,
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
10 yeses, 0 no's, 0 abstentions. Motion passes.
Thank you. Number 23, budget discussion and possible action regarding rollover and distribution of funds from the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget into the 22-2023 budget. Linda Schwerin.
All right, I have about 30,000 notes here, so let me pull the most current one. Okay. With regard to the rollover of distribution of funds, the ad hoc committee met, the ad hoc budget committee met on November 29th of this year to consider a rollover and possible redistribution of funds. At that time, we were unsure of what the actual rollover amount would be. We had not received any information from the city clerk's department. Since then, we have received the update and current, and I'm going to pull it a second here. Here we go. Since then, as of December the 1st, we received, I'm going to put this down here, hold on. We received the analysis from the city clerk's office NC funding program advising us that they had completed the analysis of our budget for fiscal year 2021-2022. Now, originally, during our budget committee meeting, we were unsure what the total amount would be, something under 10,000, and we estimated on the light side and considered $9,000 was an estimated rollover amount. The information that came on December 1st allowed for an error on the city clerk's side where they had not properly appropriated and expensed, that may not be the right word. They had not properly addressed a $5,000 expense for the California Native Plant Society. That somehow fell out and disappeared from our MERs in the last fiscal year. The MERs for the last fiscal year were correct. The adjustments were necessary on the part of the city clerk. They were made, and I verified that they are correct and that the actual amount for net is $10,000 in rollover. The budget committee had initially anticipated a $9,000 rollover. So we have actually a final, which is an extra $1,000. And so what we are doing here tonight, and I'm going to make this as quickly as possible here. Okay, so the actual rollover from fiscal year 2021 to 2022 is $10,000, which is an adjusted amount verified by the city clerk's office. It is $1,000 more than what the budget committee anticipated, but we will consider it here tonight in a future item on the agenda for considering an amendment to the budget.
Is there a motion?
Actually, do we need a motion if we're discussing the rollover of funds? I don't know. Do we?
I think we need to discuss where the rollover funds go so that
All
we're
right.
done.
All right, so number 23 is giving you information. And that's informational only, so that when we are going to vote on the next item, we'll be able to do it with the proper information that we needed. So our next item would be budget, right? And that we might amend the budget. The meeting of the ad hoc budget committee on November 29th considered the items that I've just mentioned, with the exception of the $1,000 additional adjustment. And therefore, I'm going to share the screen with you and give you the information, and we can see what was going on. Let's come down here. Share screen. Okay. Now, can you see this on your screen?
No.
Oh, all right. So let me go back. All right.
Gary Kay has his hand raised.
Yes.
You're muted, Gary.
Is it possible that we can move table items 23 and 24 till the video is posted? And while we await better
What
screen
video are you
sharing
waiting
capabilities?
for, Gary?
The question was to our president, asking if not to, was whether or not we can please table these until the videos are posted and until the screen sharing can be worked out.
I'll let the president address that, but I would say that these things need to be addressed tonight.
Please address them, Linda.
Okay, let me move this along. At the budget meeting, the current budget, as was approved previously, had under the office operational expenditures category, 13,500. It was determined at that time to add $2,000 to that category. There was nothing in outreach. Election related expenses. We added the rest of the funds, which was $5,000. What was it? It was $9,000. We said, wait a second,
Excuse me, is this on
5,000.
your screen now?
No.
All right. Pardon me for interrupting, Linda, but if I'm going to share screen with you,
well, the difficulty is it's getting late, and we're
I'm not
just
getting late. I'm sorry, but I will have to say this. Funding always comes at the ends of our meeting. Funding is very important to the neighborhood council, and I'm sorry if this is taking a little longer. Please be patient and bear with me. I want to share this with you. I want to get it done tonight so that we can move on. Just tell me if I'm sharing the screen. Do I do share screen first or access the document and then share screen?
you'd use the green share screen first.
Right.
And then select the open. And to answer your question, Gary, whatever happened at the budget committee is really moot at this point because we have to update it right now.
Now it says I'm screen sharing, so can you see this?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, heavens. That's wonderful. Okay. So based on what Linda Gravani has just mentioned to you at the November 29th ad hoc budget committee meeting, we discussed the possibility of taking the additional funds that were going to be rolled over and putting them into the 2022-2023 budget. The only difference is the fact that we now have an additional $1,000 that the budget committee was unaware of. So as you're looking at this,
You'll see at the top, here is our original 32,000. Funding has added 10,000, giving us a total for this fiscal year of 42,000. We will move down farther. The budget committee had recommended for tonight that $2,000 be added to the operational category, giving us a total in office operationals of $5,500.
15,000.
Excuse me, restate, $15,500. Thank you for the correction. With regard to outreach, Budget Committee gave no recommendation for changes, and that outreach should remain at $10,000. So we'll go on. It was recommended by the Budget Committee that we add $7,000 to election expenses. So you'll see the original 5,500 here, plus 7,000, which give us a total proposed amount of $12,500. As we continue on, the proposal would be to leave neighborhood purposes grants as they are currently at $3,000. Community improvements currently is 0, and leave that amount as is. So what you see here now at the towards the bottom of your screen, on the right, our budget as it is now, 13.5, adding what the suggested amended amount would be 15.5. Outreach would remain the same at $10,000. Elections would have an additional $7,000, bringing us to a total of $12,500. And general operations and expenditures all together, that would be the first two things you see here, 15.5 and the 10. Okay. General operations and expenditures are 38,000. Elections at 1,205 now. Neighborhood
12,000.
Excuse me?
12,005.
I thought
You
that's
said
what
1,200.
Excuse me, 12,500. Neighborhood purposes grants will remain unchanged. Community improvements remain unchanged. And so the additional proposed, according to the November 29th meeting, would have brought us up to $41,000, which you see here. With the
Okay, so
additional $1,000.
Linda, I'm going to stop you there because that's what the budget committee voted on, as Linda has shown. So now I'll move on to number 24, budget discussion and possible action to revise.
Excuse me. I don't think the budget committee would need to have anything additional to this. If the city clerk has advised that we definitely have $1,000 extra, then the $1,000 that you see here at the bottom can be rolled into the proposed amendment. Now, if the council wants to address that tonight, fine. If they don't, that's fine also, but we need to know from the neighborhood council.
Well, that's number 24, discussion and possible action to revise the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. So that's what we're trying to do. So if everybody agrees what the budget committee did, then we can vote on where the additional $1,000 goes and be done with it.
Is there a
Correct?
motion?
I don't think I agree with what you're doing. You're getting a suggestion now from the ad hoc budget committee meeting with additional information that provides that we have an update with an additional $1,000 that can be included in the budget amendment. So what I'm
That's what-
suggesting is that the council take the $1,000 because the council, I'm sure, is able to decide to place $1,000 into a particular category and do it tonight and get it finished.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
So, so we're done with item number 23. Everybody knows what the budget committee decided. So number 24, budget discussion and possible action to revise the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget, which means if everybody approves what the budget committee already determined, there's $1,000 additional. We have to decide where that $1,000 goes. Does anyone have any recommendation on where to put the additional $1,000? Ruth,
Outreach.
Dotsy?
Yes, I was
Outreach.
I'm gonna say neighborhood purposes grants. 'Cause we have-
Outreach.
Hey, I raised my hand. You could raise your hand too, James.
Thank you. You're right.
Danica,
I say outreach.
Jim Stein,
Outreach.
Jeremy,
I say outreach. We're moving into where we're going to be probably doing in-person meetings, and that may be to our advantage.
the reason we put $7,000 into the election outreach was because we're also considering doing stuff with CD6 along with our own budget for our own election. So if we're going to do a mail out using direct mail, it'll cost a good $6,000 easy. Jim, do you have your hand raised again, or is it from
No,
before?
I thought it had come down. Sorry.
All right, James, you have your hand still raised?
Well, it's outreach, yeah. I didn't raise my hand before.
You owe us one. Okay, so is outreach the way to go? Do you want outreach, or do you want election outreach?
Outreach.
Outreach.
Okay, so Linda, do you want to continue the screen share?
Can you see it now?
No.
You can't see it now?
No.
Disappeared on you, huh? Okay. Where it disappeared, I do not know. Let's look
Okay,
back.
while you're looking for it, I move that Lake
Actually-
Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the 2022-2023 budget as indicated.
Second.
Okay, Gravani made the motion, James Brown seconded. Discussion.
Okay, let me clarify. We are approving a total of $42,000.
As you have identified on your budget.
Identified that includes the total rollover from the previous year. And we are
And $1,000.
we're adding an additional $1,000 to the outreach category.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Great. Can we vote?
I hope so.
James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes, Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin,
Yes.
and Jim Stein.
Yes.
10 yeses, 0 no's, 0 abstentions. Motion passes.
Thank you. 25 funding, request reimbursement of $42.34 to board member Linda Gravani issued to GoDaddy account for 2-year renewal for Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council website.
Second. Doxy, Doxy seconded.
Okay, Gravani made the motion, Ruth
there it is.
Doxy seconded. Discussion.
Let's vote.
Thank you.
James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes,
Jim Stein.
Yes.
10 yeses, 0 no's, 0 abstentions. Motion passes.
There was a
Thank
hand
you.
up for discussion.
Sorry.
You get it, Linda?
Jeremy had a hand up for discussion.
Can't hear you.
You're
Can't hear
muted,
you.
Jeremy.
Just had a quick question. Why was it put on your personal card, why not the LBNC card?
Because it wasn't available, I couldn't reach Linda Schwering and we were not going to have a website.
Gotcha. Okay, just checking.
No problem. We're gonna table number 26, number 27, funding discussion and possible action regarding the expenditure of up $1,000 for a candidate forum for CD6 and or outreach for the community. If we do a candidate forum, I don't know where the facility is going to be, what's going to happen. My guess is if we do join in with Council District 6 neighborhood councils, there is a church that will charge $0. I'm just asking for funds just in case. And since we don't meet in January, I'm just requesting. So I move that Lake Balboa authorize the expenditure of up to $1,000 for candidate forum for CD6.
Second.
Gravani made the motion, James Brown seconded. Discussion.
Vote.
Linda Schwering.
what do you mean by candidate forum for CD6?
We discussed
Specifically?
earlier that the board would like to have a candidate forum for Council District 6 candidates.
Thank you.
Let's take a vote.
James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton is a yes. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes,
Jim Stein.
Yes.
10 yeses, 0 no's, 0 abstentions. Motion passes.
Thank you very much. 28, funding discussion and possible action regarding the expenditure of up to $500 for neighborhood council candidate election outreach during the holiday parade.
Doesn't Danica need to
What?
recuse herself?
Hang on. Well, do you want me to tell you about the parade first and then recuse myself? I'll recuse myself now.
You would have to, because the item is up, you have to recuse yourself and allow someone else to do that presentation.
Okay, I'll email. Okay. Gravani, will you do the presentation for me?
I don't have it.
I know, that's the whole thing. I can email it to you real quick.
I'm sorry, but why does she have to recuse herself? It's not her parade.
I know.
I didn't have to recuse myself from Jesse Owens. This is an outreach event.
It's about the affiliation to the parade. I do believe, Danica, you did reach out to the city attorney. Did they reach, well, I know you reached out to the city attorney. I'm gonna stop there. I know you reached out to the city attorney. Danica should be following the guidance provided.
Okay, I reached out to the city attorney. Their counsel did not get back to me. I did speak with Petty, the two city clerks, Petty and Melvin, on a conference, all three of us together on the same phone call. And they said that, I really don't have to recuse myself, but to cover my butt, they suggested that I should. So I can recuse myself. I mean,
Thank you. Let's do that so we don't have to come back.
Okay, the idea is that, Danica, you have the, the permits, and everything for your parade. Is that correct?
I don't have the permit yet in hand.
What is it that you needed to get that you said you had?
I've applied for a special event permit. I get it every year. This is,
Okay.
Daniel, can I at least just give him a little synopsis and then recuse myself?
Yes.
That would be against it. I think that's what's making this kind of complex.
No, she can explain
I
and then
don't
leave.
benefit. I mean, just for the record, everyone, I do not benefit at all from this parade in any way, shape, or form. I don't have a company that benefits from it. I do it out of the goodness of my heart because I like to put this little parade on to get the community together. It's for outreach with the community so everyone can meet each other and get to know each other and to improve our community. That said, I apply for a special event permit every year. I spoke to Officer Dixon in downtown LA yesterday. She said, my application looks great. I should get it in a couple of days, the permit. And Department of Transportation is here to help with traffic flow. And we also have officer cars that are here to also help with traffic flow. So that said, it's a great thing. People decorate themselves out, you name it. It's our 6th year. So
Okay, so that's what you're doing, and Lake Balboa is going to piggyback on it.
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna leave now. Bye, everybody.
wait a second, it is 10:06 p.m.
And I know Michael had his hand up.
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay. Let me know when you want me to leave.
Now. Okay, so she's recused herself. Michael.
No, I was gonna say Jeremy had his hand up first and then I'll go.
Okay, so I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council spend up to $500 for neighborhood candidate and election outreach during the holiday parade.
Second.
Gravani made the motion, Michael seconded. Discussion?
Yes. How does that happen? How do we combine holiday parade with the NC candidate and election outreach? How do we combine that?
By standing out there talking to people and handing out information regarding the election.
And gathering names and email addresses.
Second question, who's taking the vote on this?
I am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Gary.
I appreciate it. I think Jeremy was next, but I'm happy to go.
Go.
Okay. I think it's very much a gray area. This would be like me saying I'm having a neighborhood watch meeting in January or February and asking for funds and saying I'm going to combine it with outreach and elections and make an announcement and about elections. I think having a board member, it's a conflict of interest that I think it's something we should stay away from.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Quick question on this. We do this nearly every year. This is the first time I remember it somehow being a conflict of interest. She does this every year. I don't get it, but and so
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Jeremy.
Jeremy, I'm really having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, let me lean in closer. I don't know why this is this microphone doesn't work that well. I'm just curious. In previous years, I don't recall her having to recuse herself putting on the holiday parade, and it's been done for several years now, has it not?
That's correct. She's never had to recuse herself.
So why all of a sudden is there something different?
Because the rules are the rules are the rules are the rules.
Somebody made the hoops bigger and smaller.
Gotcha. One other thing is, in case I missed it, we skipped over number 26. Item number 26.
20. I'm just hearing 26. I don't know what you mean by 26.
Item number
26 was pushed out.
Funding.
Tabled it. She tabled
Oh, we
it,
tabled
Jeremy.
it. Okay, I missed that. I apologize.
Okay. James Brown.
Well, you'd already answered my question, but now that you called me, maybe I think to answer Jeremy's question is because before in past years, there was never any mixing of candidates during the holiday parade. And I think maybe that is one of the reasons why Daniel thought she should be recused. I don't know.
Yeah, my personal opinion is we need all the outreach we can possibly get. Lydia?
Yes, my hand is raised just to let you know, I do the vote counts. I take them as the meeting goes for the minutes, so I will be
Great.
recording the meeting minutes for the.
Thank you. I'm going to skip you, Daniel. I'm going to go to Michael first.
I guess just a quick question. What would the $500 be used for outreach for council elections in order to do outreach?
It would be for printing, for signs, for some refreshments.
There's postcards too, right? That she mailed out? The big
Yes.
Postcards?
Yes.
Promotion.
Daniel?
Yes, thank you. Forgive me for having a dimmer light.
It's
I
all
just,
right.
I just wanted to share that I believe the conflict occurs when it is her event and now it's engaging with the NC. It would be a different process, I believe, if it was an NC event led by the NC. Seeing that this is something she should personally leads on her own, and then now it's being in front, brought to the NC, that's where the conflict begins to arise. One way I will say, just based off my analysis of what just occurred and what I'm seeing with other neighborhood councils is, this is a great opportunity for any member of the board next time in the near future to lean in and support another board member with their event so that that other person that is offering that support can present while the other person recuses, right? So there wouldn't be a conflict. So that's kind of where we are right now as well too, that I'm noticing. However, she did reach out to the city attorney. She did speak with the city clerk, and they still said, go ahead and recuse yourself. So what that means to me is that as she's waiting for correspondence from the city attorney, she was also supported and advised by city clerk, just in case, recuse yourself. So that's different from what I've seen normally where folks go, I'm just going to recuse myself, right? There's no guidance from city attorney at that point or city clerk. So this is like a different situation right now. Hopefully that all makes sense.
Michael?
So thank you for clarifying on what would be used for the $500. I'm good with it. I think it's always good to start early, even though elections are in June. I think if it just shows like, you know, elections June something, get involved now, or go like the website info, it could be a little sticker on or whatever's printed on the flyer. I think I'm just want to say I'm fine with it.
I believe you also found the neighborhood council because of the parade last year.
I did.
Yeah. Woohoo! Jim Stein?
The reason I'd like to say this, that Danica's name is all over this, is because she's the one who spearheaded getting the permits and making the phone calls and finding, getting the police and the Department of Transportation and all those things that we would have done in a committee. But if you notice, we do not have a holiday parade committee. And no one took it upon themselves in the outreach group. So in a sense, this is what we're trying to do here tonight. What outreach would have been doing. And she's been doing this all by herself, not so she's putting any money in her pocket, but so that she can do this. This particular area that she lives in is very, very active in the neighborhood council. And if you'd ever gone to one of these, which I have, you'd see how active and involved these people are. This is a way it brings them in and keeps them involved in this activity.
And to me, it's like the Jesse Owens Park, because the community, which was Danica, is getting the community together to have an event, and we piggybacked on that event as well. Carol?
I think as long as the outreach that's done at the event is simply, hey, we're having elections, you know, we'd like candidates, I mean, just general, and not supporting any particular candidates, I think we're fine. I mean, as long as we stay away from electioneering for particular people, I don't see a problem.
Thank you. Linda?
I think considering the discussions that we've had tonight, possibly maybe the wording of the motion could be the issue. If the council is requesting the expenditure of up to $500, and if our goal is for promoting neighborhood council candidate elections for next year.
Also, the holiday party.
Pardon me?
Holiday party was mentioned in that motion.
It could have been, I'm
Parade.
sorry, I'm looking at the agenda, so maybe I did not quite get it. So, okay, if we are, what are we doing? Restate the motion, please.
I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council spend up to $500 for a neighborhood council candidate and election outreach during holiday parade. Sharon Brewer?
Yes, obviously, if this would have to come out of your election budget, if you're going to do it. My concern was also that to make sure that there's absolutely no electioneering when giving out the information, because that would be a big no-no. And since everybody is up for election and those board members that show up, and maybe some that don't, but basically, obviously, this is an election expense on there. But that would be my only concern reading this and combining it with your holiday parade. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Daniel?
Thank you. Possibly just amending the word and striking out candidate, because you'll be doing election outreach. Feels like those suffice. And then I also want to follow up and say thank you, Jim. What came up in my mind is words are. Let me slow down. The communication and providing clarity helps. I think when you say it's Danica's event, that's where we start getting in the nuance.
Right.
If you said Lake Balboa's parade that Danica leads the charge on, then we have another outcome. So I believe what I heard Jim say was Danica's lead of this, right? But previously it sounded like
but that's not in the motion.
Okay, no, I'm with you, but I'm saying that's where providing clarity in the recusal is coming in at. It didn't, from what I heard, I didn't feel like it was a Lake Balboa event or parade. It seems like this was her own entity that she brought to the neighborhood council. And so if there is a board member leading the charge, that is a different story in regards to the NC versus them doing something at their own time and bringing it forth to the board and the board adopting it, if that makes sense.
Jim?
And if that's more confusion, I'll put it in the email.
Yeah. Thanks a heap. Jim?
Briefly, if those of you who are able to attend a Jesse Owens park event may have seen the flyers that we had printed and were handing out. They didn't have anybody's names on it. They had Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. Elections are coming up. Get involved in your community. Here's an email address. I didn't tell them I'm running for this, I'm running for that. I do this, I do that. I say, here, take a flyer, get involved. And that's what I'd be doing here because we got a lot of those flyers left, folks.
I think the misunderstanding is neighborhood council candidate.
Right.
We are looking for candidates. We're trying to outreach to get candidates, not a specific candidates, but candidates. And, you know, what better way than at an event? The same thing with the Jesse Owens. We were looking for candidates as well as letting people know there's an election coming up. Michael?
I would make the amendment to the motion to strike out. I do agree, take out candidate and just
Right.
put for elections. And I think that's much cleaner and clearer.
Okay, so I'll amend.
Election support.
Sorry?
Were you talking to me?
Somebody said
Oh.
something. Did you say something? Because I didn't hear it.
No, I think James
Okay.
said he agreed.
So I move that Lake Balboa spend up to $500 for election outreach during the holiday parade.
Second.
Okay. Linda Gravani made the amendment. James Brown seconded. Further discussion. Glenn?
Okay, Glenn Bailey speaking as the individual. So I don't know if things have changed from the past years, but I just want to make a few comments, and I'm just the messenger, so please don't shoot the messenger. First of all, the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment recently promulgated a process that regarded funding items, is my understanding, that if a board member concerned about a possible conflict of interest did not hear back from the city attorney prior to the meeting, that the direction was that the item be postponed. That was my recollection of the direction from the department. It said nothing in there about, you know, the city clerk. They're not the city attorney. And frankly, I'm kind of surprised that the city clerk wouldn't have shared the direction from Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, if I'm understanding it correctly. Secondly, in past years, my understanding is this parade may have started or ended at the home of the board member. I don't know. I couldn't see the map. It was up pretty quick and I couldn't really tell. Obviously that may have been part of the concern. And I also am aware, and again, this goes back from past years, probably before COVID, that there was a connection in terms of a real estate company being involved, that the board member was involved with. And again, that may have changed. I acknowledge that, but I didn't hear that. Lastly, in terms of the wording that's on the agenda, well, first of all, I don't understand why you just don't have general outreach materials available for whatever, and this would just be one more opportunity and you just make it available. But since you're focusing on a specific parade, I do think that the date, at the very least, the date of the parade should be included on the in the motion, even though it's not on the agenda. That's my 2 cents on each of those things. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Schwerin, then Ruth, and then we'll move on.
I'm lowering my hand.
I just want to ask if we could vote because it's 10:23. It's a 4-hour meeting. It's just not acceptable.
No, it's not.
Well, I don't care what time it is. I'd just like to know if this is clarified so we can properly vote on it and possibly get it passed. And you don't need to sigh, folks. It's important. We're just doing something that has to do with promotion of the neighborhood council and elections. So take a breath and let's do it.
Lydia?
Yes, I just wanted to verify because as you guys made the motion, I accidentally cleared out who the second was on the original motion, which I had Cortez, and I just wanted to verify that's still correct.
The original was Linda Gravani and then Michael.
Yeah, that's what I had. Okay, I put it back in. I just wanted to verify so I didn't have the wrong information.
Okay.
So are we voting now on the motion?
The
to
amended
remove
motion.
The word,
The amended motion.
no, we never voted yet.
No.
We have not voted for the amendment yet.
Can this motion that Linda Gravani made with regard to spending up to $500 for the holiday parade, can it say proposed holiday parade in Lake Balboa
Oh, Jesus.
on the 23rd, proposed. Because I think Daniel may have said before that the date should be included.
He did, but Danica did not indicate a date.
It is
The
the
date is the 23rd,
It is the
and
23rd.
and I'm not going to change the motion. So this is
Okay.
the amend.
Fine.
This is the amended. Lydia, do you have your hand up again?
No, I just
Oh,
can't
sorry.
see to take it down. Sorry.
Okay, so this is the amended James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes, Gary Kay,
Abstain.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pasanic,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
eight yes, 0 no, 1 abstention. Now, we have to vote on
The amended motion.
the amended motion. Everybody got that? Okay. Amended motion, James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes, and good night.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Gary Kay,
Abstain.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pasanic,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
Okay, we're 8 yes, 0 no's, 1 abstention. Thank you. Reminder, number 29, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council does not meet in January. Enjoy the holidays. I will start my cookie diet shortly. Number 30, thank you, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council board members and Neighborhood Watch block captains. We really appreciate all you do behind the scenes for our community and the late night meetings. I appreciate it. And number 31, it is now 10:27 p.m. Meeting adjourned.
Happy
I'll not
holidays.
take
Happy
no for an
holidays.
answer.
Bye.
Michael,
Yes.
I sent you 2 emails. One of them was very important. Could you
Happy
please
holidays,
check them?
folks, and good night.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Jim. I will.